Get the hell off my podcast.
Fine, but who's going to start the episode? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cinema Forecast. I am your host, Alfredo, and with me, as always, my good friend and co-host, Connor.
It's me. Maybe I should have started the podcast to really fill out that bit.
Yeah, you could have. But then I'm like, oh, this is a whole... This is actually going to be another episode where we're going to discuss this and really break down what we should have done. But when we start doing the, like, in-depth breakdowns of, like, each of our previous episodes, like, when we re-roll the category, it's not, like, watching new movies in the category. What we're doing is we're actually going to go through each episode in depth.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, welcome to Cinema Forecast, the movie podcast where every month we are randomly assigned by the legally distinct Movie Roulette. That's coming up next week, folks. A category. 4 movies are attached that we feel fit said category, and each week we go in depth in one of those movies talking about them, and you guessed it, the context of that category. The category for this month, Connor.
That's right, Alfredo. We're doing movies in motion.
Movies in motion. This is a very fun, has been a nice, really... Well, I guess we watched Titanic last week, but that was also kind of fun.
It's pretty fun. That's
There's
a fun
lot
movie.
of fun going on.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, the movie today, I'd never seen this movie before, Air Force One.
Yes, sir.
I got excited.
Mhm.
I was like, I love shoes. Michael Jordan. I mean, he's the GOAT, you know? So I thought I was going to watch an entire movie all about those sick shoes. But no, we're not talking sneaks here, brother.
No, we're not.
We're talking the namesake of the shoe. Did you know that the shoe's named after the plane that the president of the United States flies in?
I did not know this.
Well,
Wild stuff.
now you know. Yeah. Fucking let's talk first times.
Yeah, this is, so I think I mentioned in the Speed episode that I went through a phase in like my late teens, early 20s where I started going back and like watching all the movies from my childhood and seeing how well they like still hold up. And this is one of those movies I did not go back and watch. So this is the first time I've seen it since my childhood, but it is one of the many like 90s action flicks that was kind of on repeat in my household for a long time.
Word.
What about you?
This is my first time watching this movie.
That's right.
Yes, and
Hell yeah.
it is insane.
It is insane.
It is.
It was really fun. I was pleasantly surprised, like how fun it is.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I will say, I think we always try to do a good job of not, like I say, I love context. I don't want to be like overbearing about context, but I am someone who is politically minded, who thinks about a lot of these things. And as someone who's not a huge fan of jingoism or like, patriotism, there are parts of this movie that are so ridiculous, but it is so America. So like there is this aspect of it that is, and it's wild because there's the two sides of it and the way that the like dialogue goes for it. I mean, we're going to get into it, but it is just such a wild ride, like, and just almost using this like political landscape as a backdrop to your like action movie.
Yeah.
But
well, one thing I appreciated about it though, because I was worried about, I was like, is it gonna be just like too much rah rah rah, like waving the flag and stuff? And there's definitely some of that in there, but I also
there's a lot of that. There is a lot of that.
Yeah, but I also feel like there's a lot of like pushback on that and kind of idealization of what it could like. What's the best version of that in some ways? So like, it didn't feel just like, no, America's great and it's always been great and we don't do anything wrong here. We're just awesome all the time. It's everyone else's problem.
Yeah. Sure, I'll give it that, but I will say that there is like a lot of stuff that when you think about it practically, that's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not cheering for a person who like feels like that. There's just certain things where like I'm just like, I get that it's a movie, but like if you really like think about it, like it almost like presents like the other side of things. I don't know, just like kind of like throws it out there. I don't think there's like, I don't know, it doesn't. We'll talk about it when we get into like specific moments, but it definitely felt like this is the most patriotic movie we've watched on this podcast.
Oh yeah, by far.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie where the fucking president of the United States saves an airplane from a hostage situation. That's insane.
Yeah.
With like training as a helicopter pilot in Vietnam.
Yeah.
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 This is pure fantasy.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. I mean, military training's military training, you know? You could have pulled it off. I think that the parts of it that are the least realistic is I'm like, would he still be in shape enough to be able to be fighting all these guys? You know, like, is he working out on the daily? Like, I feel like they could have thrown something like that in. Like, oh, between this and you always like fucking never leaving the gym or some shit like that.
But see, I almost I feel like that's almost easier for me to just like swallow in the like conception of like action movie. The protagonist is the president of the U.S. I'm like, okay, I totally
let's
get
do
that.
it. Let's do
There's
it.
a lot of the other like extra like political things where I'm like,
Yeah.
this is like, but
Well, I'm excited to get into that.
yeah,
stuff, 'cause-
let's talk about it. Let's go. Let's hit some themes.
Yeah. So themes for this month for movies in motion. We got
Number one.
Number one is Control.
Control.
Number two, Hubris of Man. Number three, Danger. Number four, I had is Isolation, but I think you pointed this out last week that Trapped kind of sums this up better for movies in motion, where it's like, yes, they're all kind of like, what is humanity when you're all trapped in this situation together? And all three of these movies so far have definitely been following that trend. And the last one's Microcosm of Community, which is kind of like part of the trapped thing, is like what is society when they're all forced together like this?
Yeah, for sure. I think this one is of the four movies we're watching this month. Spoiler, I think has the least amount of that.
The least amount of microcosm of community.
This one is very like.
There's some, but it's
it's, I mean, they're
compared
always,
to Speed and Titanic. Absolutely,
when humans are in a group, there always is.
Yeah,
also, I mean, dude,
and hostage situation, right?
And
like,
the movie we're watching next week is the most, I think, for sure. But I mean, that's the whole basis of it. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because like I feel like I feel like Control has surprised me on just how much it really has been a big theme in all these movies, because like that was just like something I thought of in terms of like when I think of vehicles,
right.
And all three of them I think have really had that a lot at the forefront.
Well, you know, like you just mentioning it, I talked about this in the There Will Be Blood episode, but there's a lot of talking about like where is the power centered in a scene between actors. So like honestly, like a lot of like acting is about control. I mean, it's completely about control, like controlling your like reactions and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
So it is really cool to have that as a concept, thinking about like technology and how man controls it or wields it, and then getting to see like the power play of control within like scenes between like interpersonal scenes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Should we get into this bad boy?
Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith is back.
Yes, yeah. I didn't remember that he did the composition for this. He was on Alien. I think that's the only one he's done that we've done, right?
Yeah, and you also mentioned he did I think orchestral music parts for like Mulan.
Yeah, and then Total Recall is what I knew him from, because I really like the soundtrack from that. But
sure.
yeah, he's kind of I think an underrated composer at this point, because hot damn, dude, the score in this is so good. Like whether or not you feel super patriotic, like it hit me in the feels a couple times. Just the music alone, I thought it was really strong.
I think it did a good job of being like pretty like stately, you know, like for the parts of it. I think it worked great.
Yeah, you got like a bunch of like horns and like marching drum sounds, so it has this kind of military backdrop.
There is
to it,
for sure.
It's really cool.
And then as far as other people, we have Wolfgang Peterson. That's the person who's directing. He directed Das Boot and Neverending Story.
Oh wow.
We also the script was written by Andrew W. Marlowe. He wrote Hollow Man and End of Days.
Oh wow. Okay, End of Days was another childhood watch for me.
This is the best part. Oh yeah, I read about. I never heard about that movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is ex-cop, security guard, having to save New York from the devil.
The Antichrist, yeah.
So, what I was really stoked to see and like kind of surprised by is the director of photography. He is Michael Ballhaus, who is the guy who did Goodfellas.
Oh wow.
He did Fabulous Baker Boys, the Coppola Dracula, and a movie previously mentioned on here, Age of Innocence.
Wow.
Starring Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah.
That's very surprising to me, because the cinematography was fine. It didn't really like stand out too much to me.
You would expect it to say like Jan de Bont, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool though.
Kind of an interesting choice for the just like super simple credits of blue font over black credits. And gotta say, we didn't plan this out. This is interesting. Same year as Titanic.
Yeah,
right?
97.
So that was kind of like in the back of my head while we were while I was watching this, just like thinking about like, wow, so like what are the similarities and kind of like choices, CGI comparisons as well, stuff like that. Like where was the tech at the time?
For sure. Well, I think also the version of Titanic we probably watched has been remastered.
Oh
I think.
yeah, probably. Good point. Good point. Yep. Wrote down this theme is amazing. It is. Every time it came in, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't mind it, but maybe like I don't know. Maybe it's from being like growing up playing in like band and like these pieces were always some of like like I liked them a little bit when I was in junior high. By the time I'm in high school, I'm like like I don't know. There's something I don't know. What didn't particularly call to me, but it works in the context, right?
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, so I do love the like slow fade in from black to just seeing the parachutes in the night sky. I did read that being able to execute like pistol shots from this distance riding a parachute is impossible.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It would be super hard with like like with a rifle or like a sniper rifle, like a long gun. But apparently this would be like impossible to pull off.
Yeah, for some reason.
But it looks badass.
When because you see the red dot on the back of his head. And for some reason, I was thinking that like one of them had already landed when he was taking that shot. But I think we see them dropping in.
Yeah, we do.
That,
we see them dropping after that. Where's that? We're at the presidential palace in Kazakhstan.
Yeah,
and there's guards on the roof.
In terms of like what you were pointing out about like some of the rah in here. This was one of the things that stood out to me is like what was going on in Kazakhstan in 1997 and like how offensive is this to be like, oh, by the way, in our like movie your country is like the authoritarian fascist nation state, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What's interesting too is that you don't see any ethnically Kazakh people in the movie. When I was when I took a couple classes in the Netherlands like 10 years ago and I stayed for 2 weeks in a place called Utrecht. And in my like sort of like little dorm stack was all people from like Kazakhstan, and there are a lot of ethnically Russian people there, like from there, and there's a lot of like ethnically like Kazakh people. Definitely more like Kazakh people were there. But I was just like so interested, like this, like you're saying, why did they choose that country? And like then like after choosing that country, then like the way that they're represented, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I was trying to see if anything was really going on in Kazakhstan in 1997, and it looks like they moved their capital, but I didn't see like any kind of like crazy regime stuff going on. And there is this kind of interesting suggestion in the lore in this like Radek in general, I think is a really interesting, like they don't tell you much about him and I don't really think they need to, but it kind of sets up that this is someone who basically
does he even speak
no,
at all?
And I kind of like that.
And you know why it's a good idea? Because he's played by Jurgen Prochnow, who played Duke Leto Atreides in the David Lynch
him. Oh.
And not only that, he's fucking German. He was in Das Boot, which probably makes sense why Wolfgang Petersen had him be in this movie. But like that, I also was immediately like, that guy's not Russian. But with Gary Oldman, my reaction was definitely hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like,
I love Gary Oldman in this. He's so good. But no, like there seems to be kind of this setup in the lore here that after the USSR collapsed, Radek was this kind of radical leader that tried to unite the other countries that like fell apart around Russia, and he's basically trying to pull the USSR back together. So it's like kind of this alternate history that I find very interesting.
I almost took it like he took like part of why it works with the things that they're saying about like genocide and him not being ethnically Kazakh is like, oh, it makes sense. He's like this Russian general who is part of like the Red Army who has like kind of gone rogue after Russia like democratized, right? And he's kind of like you said, like kind of like tearing across the landscape, and he's able to take over like Kazakhstan, right?
Yeah.
But, and I would have loved to hear so much more about like the refugee stuff, because that's where you're gonna fucking get me, dude. That's where you're gonna like make me like get like really emotionally hooked. I mean, like family stuff is also always good for sure, and like man, we'll get to individual performances, but there's some really strong moments from like I think some of the family.
Totally. So yeah, we're on the roof. They're gunning him down. This is a pretty fun, kind of chaotic sequence. I like that we see them place the mines down before they head in. They turn the power off. They're running through. It's going back and forth between like night vision and the normal darkness and the gunshots and everything. And then bust into his room. We see him get pulled from his bed. And they make this pretty epic escape with the gun battle on the roof and blasting them with their mines and everything. It's pretty epic.
Yeah, they've taken Radek.
Yep.
And then we have this Moscow 3 weeks later.
Yep.
And we get some context for what exactly has happened, which is that they got. And I think the guy speaking is Petrov, who's the Russian president, and he's talking about like how they were able to get Radek and like saying thank you to the U.S. and the POTUS for helping make this happen. And then we have Harrison Ford as the president of the United States, James Marshall, saying in Russian, "The dead remember our indifference.
Yeah.
The dead remember our silence."
This is one of the things that really impressed me on this rewatch is just like some of these lines I actually thought were like pretty profound. Like this line, "Real peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the presence of justice." I was like, damn. And it kind of slaps.
It feels okay. So this is like part of like it feels like he is saying like we're changing our policy from being non-interventionist, which lol, to like heavily ready to like police the world in a way, right? Which there's something like on the surface, you're watching this action movie, you're like hell yeah, but there's something like disquieting about that to me. I do. I mean, he says 200,000 people, right, died. Like they
important
acted
to
too
set
late.
this up because this is really the justification for whose allegiance you should have in this movie.
Right. And he says like we hid behind economic sanctions and stuff like that. And man, I mean that shit hit me hard because I mean, I like not to get into any specific situations, but like that shit is like. Yeah, man, there's fucking people dying like in the world right now. There are lots of people fucking dying, and like, that moment, that like particular thing felt. I was like, wow, fuck.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just talking about how they acted too late. So some powerful stuff that got me thinking right from the start. I mean, it doesn't dwell on this stuff too much, but it is kind of like some interesting philosophical questions they're posing, I think.
And that's a sick line. It just sounds cool. The like true peace is not the absence of conflict.
Yeah.
That's dope, But
really good line.
The presence of justice, right?
Yeah.
I want him to jump off a turnbuckle and like fucking give someone a fucking like the people's elbow after he says that, right, dude?
People's elbow.
Yeah. That's the the Rock's move, the people's elbow.
Oh no, okay.
I'm not a big wrestling guy.
You just made that up.
No, I'm not a big.
No,
I'm not a big wrestling guy. I just know that. We the people's elbow.
Yeah, and important to note here.
Hey, wait. We the people's elbow. That's good. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's important to note here that he's not doing the speech he was supposed to do, and his
yes,
staff
he
is
went
all,
off script.
Yeah, he's kind of
the chief of staff. I think his name is Lloyd Shepard. I checked. He's played by is it Paul Guilfoyle? I remember him because he was brass on CSI, but he's kind of like stoked on it, and he's like kind of like telling like upping the president, like telling him like hell yeah, and then like Jack Doherty, who is the national security advisor, he's like, you should have talked to me about this, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Jim.
Well, and like the whole conversation they have in the car after this. Oh, and really quick, I just want to point out that I love the look of the banquet, like how smoky it is, and like the color design. Like I just thought it was like a really great set.
Yeah, it is like the kind of like these like almost like there's like this burnt like sienna, like very sort of like tan wood sort of like palette.
Yeah,
it does.
Very cool.
It does look good. Like I almost like I've never watched Barry Lyndon, but I really want to. I've heard it's very good, but it almost had that sort of like I don't know. It almost felt like a period piece, like looking out on it.
There was a couple times where I was just really struck by the sets, and it was basically like this, and then the whole thing at the end when Radek is leaving the prison, like it was just kind of like set after set after set.
Yeah.
That was like super moody and cool, and I was like, whoa.
I love it, and like the lighting and stuff, like in those scenes.
Yeah.
You're saying you weren't really struck by the.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I was more struck. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like a lot of like very like standard angles and like, but like even like the prison scenes.
Yeah.
They're like, it's kind of weird because you don't really get a sense of the whole thing. Like, there's maybe a couple of like wider shots, but there's a lot of like tight shots on people, which I think helped like give the like claustrophobic, locked up vibe of the jail.
Totally. But yeah, like we were saying, they're in the car. I think.
And this is one of the things he says. I'm ready to take Congress on. You know, like
no, he's on the phone. He's like, tell them that the president's ready to take Congress on. And so I wrote actually at the top of the page here during the Titanic episode, we were talking about how Jack is kind of like the manic pixie dream boy in that movie. And I wrote here that this is the manic pixie dream president. Like,
bro, oh my god, I mean. I'll just mention it when we get to that point. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just like this, and like that's part of what kind of works for me with some of the rah stuff, because it's like, what if we had like a president that actually like stood up for what they thought was right, and like, you know, like what if we could idealize, like, I don't know, what if you could be patriotic, Alfredo? That's the question this movie poses.
No, I don't think I ever would be. I mean, I care about people. I don't care about like nationalities, you know?
Sure, yeah.
I think it gets in the way. Like I mean, to be like stoked about like what a government is doing,
yeah,
that's cool for sure. But then where it falls flat is that I'm like, am I like, there's so much like kind of like shirking of the geopolitical landscape in this.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who's, hey, you know what? I'll say it right now. I'm not someone who like stays super up to date with things, but lately I've been listening to a political podcast. So as I've been widening my view a little bit more, you know, getting a little bit more informed, I think it was such like a synchronous moment to watch this movie and be like, well, you know, I'm doing a little bit of politicking myself, and this seems a little reductive. But again, it's a movie, right?
Yeah.
And I knew, I guess it's okay. I was gonna say I knew what I was getting into, but I did not. I had no idea what I was getting. Like, why didn't I just? As soon as you think the president is the protagonist,
he's an action hero.
Yeah. It's so fucking funny.
It's great.
It's so fucking, dude. Fuck. I wish he had like bit into a cheeseburger at the end or something, you know. Fuck.
Just like a big plate of pie ready for him on the plane.
Yeah.
They're calling it the "Be Afraid" speech. I guess like another way to put it is like maybe not patriotic, but like what if you could be proud where your taxes go? You know, just like, wow, like we're actually like helping the world. You know, instead of like, oh wow, we're bombing innocent people.
Yeah. Pride is a sin.
That's true.
But yeah, I get what you mean. It's like, but the follow through is like maybe like where it can fall a little flat.
Yeah.
But again, like these are nitpicks when you're watching this movie to me. Like these are like I am like a person who's conscious of society, and these are the things that I'm noticing when I'm watching this. This is when I'm watching it in like the context of the world we live in. This is what I'm thinking about. But like there's the part of like there's the lizard brain that's like fucking president go boom, you know, like and I'm on board for it, you know?
Yeah.
And like we get introduced after this to Gary Oldman's character, like him and his group, they're posing
shows up as the crew,
they're posing as the news crew, and immediately there have been other Russian accents that we've had on the podcast. I can't throw them out right now, but Gary Oldman is like, it is so, as someone who loves language, someone who loves like fucking around and doing accents, doing different voices, like he is such a fucking pleasure to watch.
He is amazing in this.
He's amazing.
I had forgotten it was Gary Oldman because I was like, oh, it's just like some Russian actor, you know?
Though like his knowledge of like, because you can see that someone understands the phonetic like construction of, or partially at least, when they are able to do an accent like to that degree, because it is really like like the way he hits a lot of like the vowels and stuff, and he's not, I mean, I think I've seen some examples of him contrasted to John Malkovich in Rounders, who does these very like broad like Russian accent like that, right?
Yeah.
And fucking Oldman just hits it so perfect.
Yeah, he's well, I couldn't help but like compare him to Howard Payne, Dennis Hopper in Speed, and it's like such an interesting difference in what they're going for, where Speed is much funnier than Air Force One, and it's much more like, you know, wink wink, like nudge nudge, and so like Dennis Hopper's over the topness like works for that.
Yeah.
And Air Force One is very earnest, and I feel like Gary Oldman's performance here as this kind of emotionally like salient, like horrible villain is like pretty powerful, I think.
Yeah, I love him. I love him. I love him to the point where there were moments where I was almost like, I think I'm cheering for him a little bit.
I never went that far. I mean, every time I had a moment of sympathy, I'm like, oh yeah, 200,000 like innocent people killed. Right. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they never show the numbers that,
Yeah.
Like
No.
like I'm saying, like it's not like the United States is completely like innocent. They've been
Yeah.
complicit in a lot of things.
Well, he has that line later that like he's like, "Don't lecture me on war. You killed 100,000 Iraqis," and this is 4 years before 9/11 and 6 years before the Iraq War. So it's like we were just getting started, baby.
Because of Desert Storm, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and he says so that you could pay 15 cents less,
a nickel, yeah.
a nickel less per gallon of like that. Yeah, dude, like that's like
Yeah.
bro, and
That's what
it's
I mean.
because
That's the stuff where I'm
it's
like,
because
they're
he is the
pushing
best
back.
actor,
Yeah.
like in the movie,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, bro, almost leaps and bounds. Okay, maybe not leaps and bounds, but he is like the performance he's giving is like fuck.
Yeah. I agree. Well,
Harrison Ford is just being Harrison Ford.
yeah, I mean that's like I'm thinking about Harrison Ford's performance while you're saying
His
that because I agree
performance-
Gary Oldman's is better, but I'm like, Harrison Ford's is just like very solid. Like it just.
I mean, dude, there's some parts where I'm like,
You think he's phoning it in? A little?
it's kind of silly, yeah. But like, dude, his acting in the conversation was way better than this, like, way better, I would say.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see that.
But I mean, there's more. I mean, maybe there's like more nuance to that. I don't know. It is very like sort of like gruff and like it's also like it's hard to know what's the script and like and again, it's all like tone based, right?
Yeah.
But I think what kind of like sucks for everybody else is that it is tone based, but then you have the guy come in who's like I am this guy, right? You have Gary Oldman like
I don't know. I'm just thinking there's a couple parts of the movie where like, Harrison Ford's family is like getting threatened, and the way he kind of starts to like break down emotionally, like the like near like the confrontation that they have where he finally agrees to release Raddick. Like I remember that being a really strong performance, for example, from Harrison.
yeah, it
Ford.
didn't hit me as hard. Honestly.
That's fair. Yeah. So they're talking about like why this speech was kind of a ballsy move and like kind of reckless in a way, which I think is another really interesting thing about like he is the manic pixie dream president, but there's also this side of him where he is kind of doing things that he probably shouldn't be doing as president.
Yeah.
And so like our allies won't be happy that you didn't talk to them about this. Like, yeah, you probably should talk to your allies and stuff and get people on the same page before you just make these big moves.
He's
right?
a real fucking wild card. He's like he's out there. He's doing his thing, dude. When he feels is right, he will do.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, we get that nice moment coming up soon where he comes back to the plane and he has that conversation with his wife.
Right, but first
Yeah.
we get the details about Air Force One and like the fact that it's like bullet resistant.
You could run the whole country from here.
Yeah, then there's the whole like comm situation, and we see the president arriving, and then when he does go in, this is part of like what was so fucking silly. Like when he first like walks in and he's just like, he's calling the pilot Danny, calling him by his first name. He's making everybody laugh. He wants to know if they taped the game for him. He's a real man's man. And it is like how much of this is happening in this scene is really fucking
Too much.
like, really corny. It's so corny.
I agree. There is this nice moment that I noticed this time because I remembered who the traitor was. Where they do like a very
Gibbs?
Yeah, a very tight like close in on his
Yeah.
face, right? And it's just like I don't know if that's something you would have picked up on your first time seeing, but for me it was like, oh yes, obvious, like he's a villain.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, no, I didn't notice it when I was first watching, but you also know he's like it pretty quickly. You
Yeah.
know that he's.
Yeah,
There's
in
also
a couple minutes he'll be shooting people.
there's
yeah.
also a moment where he like looks at where him and like Gary Oldman like kind of like share like a glance like
yeah,
a
yeah.
stare at each other.
Yeah.
But also there's the whole bit about like he's trying to avoid the spoilers for the game because he's a relatable guy. I don't know. If you know
I
this.
think a lot of that stuff is corny. I do kind of like the trying to catch the game thing because it's
This
just
is-
like I've
this
been
is-
so busy. Don't tell me. Don't
This
fucking
is
tell me.
this is like I think a good part of it that I like enjoy. I'm almost like I don't think you need so much of the other stuff, and just having this sort of like bit. When then I do love the way the guy's like, did you hear 14-13 Michigan? And he's like, fuck. He was like literally alone finally.
Yeah, and then I think they cement that humanization even more, where like that it finally cuts to him watching the game and he's just like passed out on the couch because he's so tired. I was like, damn, that feels real. Like,
yeah,
that's good.
but I mean, he's kind of awake, because like when like she opens, she's like he's asleep, and then he like starts talking to them. And you're like, oh wow, he's always aware.
That's just his military training.
It's that helicopter pilot training.
Let's see.
There is the moment outside the plane with Grace and Alice, who are the first lady and the first daughter, the first family, where we see like Alice is kind of like, she's a little bit of a rebel, it seems like. Like her mom tells her, come on, like look nice for the cameras or whatever. So she like goes to strike a pose.
Yeah.
And then she kind of like pulls her along. And it's interesting because I was so curious about like the intended dynamic, and I think you get a little bit of a peek into it, but they really kind of fall into the background and become like bargaining chips very quickly.
Yeah, I would have liked a little more from them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff from Grace. There's also a part that I could not like. It was, I'll point it out when it happens, but I was like, oh my fucking God, I'm so taken out of this movie.
Oh, funny.
In this particular moment. And it's like in one of the like most dramatic, like sort of like, it's like the denouement, like the sort of like emotional, but we'll get to it.
Hell yeah.
It's cute the way Alice jumps on his lap while he's sleeping
and
too.
they're watching the game together. All that's very cute. And then, you get the moment of her being like, why didn't you take me to the refugee camp?
And she's saying she's ready.
Yeah.
She's 12 years old.
I like this.
She's an
arc.
adult.
Yeah.
She can do it. She can. I love the fact that it's just, I'm 12 too. And I'm like that was an easy like eye roll. Like sometimes when like
but
kids
that is the type of shit a 12-year-old
yeah, but
say.
sometimes, but like when kids like say like, I'm like 15.
Yeah.
Like there I'm like, okay, I can like, think about the things, I did or I saw when I was 15. Like, okay, like maybe it is time, but yeah, it was so fun. Like I'm 12, but she's cute. She's good. I think she's fun. But again, doesn't have much to do.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he has the conversation with his wife. They're reminiscing about their first campaign.
Wait, also he's drinking a beer.
Oh, that's important.
Come on, this is not.
Did we get the brand?
Do we get? No, I don't. Well, okay. Well, there's when he goes down into the plane later on, you see like a big case of like Bud. It's like the product placement like basement in like Air Force One.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, they're reminiscing about their first campaign together, and she kind of like you were saying, he's kind of like he speaks from the heart or whatever, shoots from the hip. But it kind of sounds like maybe he had fallen out of that a little bit based on what she says here. She says, you spoke from your heart, and that's what I heard tonight, as if like that isn't what he's been doing for a while. Like the old you is back is what she's talking about.
I took it to be like reassurance. Like I didn't necessarily read into it that like that was what was going on previously, but that's a cool read. I guess we need a prequel, Air Force Zero.
That's right. The daughter falls asleep on the couch, and First Lady tucks her in. That stuff's very cute.
And then we do see the guy sleeping, who's he's handcuffed to the football.
Yeah, which is an interesting like background thing that they kind of just like.
It happens.
Dingle it in front of you just to kind of be like, there's nuclear codes.
I think you can count literally 3 moments where it like comes into play.
Yeah.
It's here
when he gets shot.
Later on, when he gets shot, and they're like the suitcase,
one,
and then the third one where they show the new guy with the like football.
Yep. Which is a cool little procedural detail I appreciate, but like
it is for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe there are more shots in the background that I didn't notice.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there are, then dope. If there are not, then I would say maybe just a couple little extra little shots of guy with like the handcuff and the suitcase. I don't know.
Totally.
We have they're talking about the president's speech on the news.
Right.
And you see Gary Oldman is like sort of checking his watch, which felt like a nice little bit of like, foreshadowing, right?
Yep.
And we also had I think before this we had gotten stuff about how like the Iraqi military is like mobilizing.
I think
and stuff.
That's next. You have a briefing.
No,
with
that
the
was
president.
before. They mentioned it to him beforehand, like.
Okay.
But then like he goes into the room with all the like chiefs of staff or whatever, and we have William H. Macy, who is making another appearance on the podcast.
That's right.
He was in Boogie Nights, and he was in Searching for Bobby Fischer.
That's right.
Is there anything else he was in that we watched?
Gosh, I feel like there was one more, but I can't remember right now.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Dang it. He's great though. Love him.
He's always great. I love him. Man.
I meant to look this up. He tells them in this briefing, send the Nimitz back in.
The Nimitz, the USS Nimitz is an aircraft carrier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Saddam Hussein is approaching the border.
Except I think they give him Hassad Hussein, I think they called him in this. I'm pretty sure they didn't call him Saddam.
I think it's Saddam Hussein.
I think they might have called him something different.
All right, let's pause it and let's watch it right now.
Okay.
All right, we checked the tape.
We did.
It's Saddam Hussein.
We did. Yes, it was. He just says it in a weird way.
It says Saddam Hussein.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we get the traitor bringing the reports to the other agents. I assume this is the rest of the Secret Service that he's kind of handing this off to. And this is kind of the crux of the whole plan here, because all the guns are in this room, and he has to kill 3 guys without setting off the alarms. And this is another one of those things that's just not very realistic. Like, they always make silencers seem like they're actually going to completely silence the gun, but in actuality, if you're shooting a silenced pistol in the like 20 feet away from these people, they're going to hear a gun going off.
Yeah, for sure. But again,
that's fine.
Yeah.
No, I didn't care. It's just one of those movie things. Yeah.
We're taking a trip in the imagination copter.
yeah, for sure.
And then he throws like a smoke grenade, and everyone starts freaking out.
As a signal. Yeah, well, they run in there, and then people start freaking out when they see them like grabbing the guns and stuff.
No, they start freaking out when the smoke starts rolling out of the room.
Because I thought like the terrorists like run in even
they
before
do run in, and then like the smoke when they first see the smoke, and then like right as they're running in, everybody starts to see the smoke, and they start freaking out. Then they start fucking shooting.
Yeah, and it's a very intimidating shot of them pulling out all these assault rifles and putting on the bulletproof vests and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's this feeling of just pure horror as like everyone else is completely defenseless.
It is kind of like a moment where I'm like, okay, now the movie has started. Like, where everything's kicking into gear, they're getting geared up, and it's like, this is the promise of the premise. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, and I want to point out that we do get like quite a bit of the plane kind of being toured by us, like kind of like shots following the president around as he's moving through it to kind of give you a nice layout of the plane.
The press secretary, Melanie, she also gives the Russian news crew like a little bit of a tour.
Yeah.
So I do, one of the things I appreciate about a movie in motion, this sort of like this specific setting for the rest of the movie is we do have a good idea of how it flows, how everything sort of like moves. We have like the under area that is going to like play super heavily into it. And then like the top part where there is like the communications and then also the cockpit.
For sure. And then you got the conference room at the bottom of the stairs and all that. And then kind of the back areas where they have
you have like the room for like the president and like his family.
Yeah.
Where, the game is on.
Yeah, it was wild to like it almost looks like a freaking hotel in there. It's like a flying
insane. Yeah,
hotel.
It's really wild.
It's cool. And then epic battle on the plane, smoky chaos and death, and everyone's falling down and dying. The score's going hard.
Yeah, we get the way the fucking Secret Service pulls him out of the room is so fucking funny. It literally like the way he's like thrown about. I think it's kind of funny, but also feels very real. Like 'cause he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" But like also knows that he has to like sort of go with them, and they take him down. Underneath.
And he's separated from his daughter here.
Yes.
She's calling for him.
Yeah, because there's a shot of her opening the door and then like a guy getting shot like right in front of her. We also have the like the football, the second mention of the football there where we see the guy get shot with the briefcase. And then when they take him down, because they're trying to take him into the pod, I pointed this out to you. You said you're going to check later on to see if it's in the version that you watch, but there's this weird break of continuity at 23 minutes 44 seconds that I just showed you actually when we stopped down for the Saddam stop down. But it's so wild because it's like the guy's like pushing him along the hallway and everything, and then suddenly it's a shot from later on where you see like in the background one of the Russian terrorist guys like walking down the hallway, and then in the foreground you have Harrison Ford like hiding with his back to like a wall, right?
Yeah.
But it was wild. It was weird.
Yeah, super interesting.
I hope it's in the original, and I would imagine it's a known thing if it's in the original.
Yeah, that seems like such a weird mistake to make. And I
Yeah.
would be surprised if I never noticed it since
What's
I've
up,
watched it so
YouTube?
much. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
That's where I watched it. I watched it at YouTube.
I watched it on Amazon, so yeah,
Dude,
we'll let
if
you
you
know.
guys if you guys want to, either of those companies want to like sponsor us, we'll
Hell
only
yeah.
watch it there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he kind of barely makes it into the pod. All of his securities drop in one by one around him.
Does he?
Or does he? But yeah, he's asking, "Where's my family?" Like he's not.
Yeah.
This dude's not gonna leave here without his family, which is why we love him. Yeah,
the
they're
terrorists
cool.
are fucking pissed off. Like
Yes,
they're so
I love.
angry.
I love Oldman's reaction to
Yeah.
him finding out that he wasn't there.
Yeah,
just
he's
like,
fucking livid. He's just
Yeah.
like, fuck.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's great. Because they're like, man, that's like that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
But also, like, if that was the whole thing, like, maybe like do a better job of having like eyes on him when you like
Yeah.
launch the whole thing.
Good point. Yeah, totally.
Then we see that the VP, the vice president, played by Glenn Close. Oh, I think I like her performance a lot
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, me too.
A lot of the stuff between her and Dean Stockton, who plays Walter Dean,
Is that the defense secretary?
of Defense.
Yeah.
I like a lot of their sort of thing and their sort of side story.
Yeah, I thought that was another just kind of interesting philosophical thing, kind of like brewing under the surface that was just kind of fun to have. There's a lot of business in this movie, but I think the business is pretty fun.
It's all like directly related, and there's
Yeah.
like so much tension the whole time that I think it works really well. I also like. I think one of the things that I like about it is one of the things that's interesting is that the vice president ultimately is like, yeah, I'm backing him up to let him do whatever he feels is right for the world, versus the thing that we've already brought up, which is like, no, let's like actually have like a democracy and make a decision like together.
Yeah, which it's all very interesting. Well, his whole
Radek is a dictator, but I should also be a dictator.
his whole decision to stay behind, I think, is such an interesting hero choice moment because it's like not what a president should do really, but it's like what you would want someone to do. It's what you want a person to do, but it's not what you want a president to do, right? Like because exactly for what almost happens, right? Radek
Yeah.
does get released from the prison because they do have the president hostage.
Yeah.
Like
the aide too, it's so funny. The aide, remember from the facts like idea, she says to him like I'm so proud that you stayed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, dude, that's so silly. But it's like, yeah, I mean that's the whole conceit of the whole thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would be pretty stoked if my president came in and rescued me from terrorists.
Yeah, no,
I'd be like, okay, I may have some problems with you, but
I would be so no matter who saved me, honestly.
Yeah.
It could be Radek saving me. I'd be like,
Oh, thank you, Radek.
thanks for saving me, Radek.
Yeah. We get the jets rolling in to escort Air Force One. We get a lot of that, a lot of jet business, which is fun.
Yeah, because they had contacted the like an Air Force base in, I think is it Rammstein? I think is like what it's called.
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, which I thought was so funny because
Yeah.
it's like the band, you know.
Yeah.
Du hast mich.
They're trying to bust into the cockpit. This whole sequence is extremely tense, I thought. You got the pilot saying, no matter what happens, we land this aircraft. Is that understood? And the whole sequence of them, like, putting the putty on the door to blow it up as, like, the plane's landing. And the plane, like, lands as they bust into the cockpit. And, like, they're, fighting to the death to not let them take it.
Yeah, I mean, he
over, and
puts
it's
the
like,
gun to like the one guy's head, and he's like fucking do it, and he's like no, so he like won't pull up, so he shoots. I love the way he screams, get the fuck in the air, so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shoots the first guy. The other guy won't pull him back in the air either, so he shoots him too. And then we have Mr. Ditkovich from Spider-Man 2 and 3 pilot the
is that
fucking
right?
plane. Yeah, Elliot Baskin.
That's
I was
fun.
like, where do I recognize this guy from? And I was like, oh, and yeah,
he has a distinct face for sure.
yeah, Spider-Man 2 and 3. He plays Peter Parker's landlord. Or no, he's
Oh.
his landlord, right?
Okay, yeah. I
Lorenz
remember that.
Du
I haven't seen
Parker.
that in years,
Yeah.
but I can see that now, yeah.
Well, as I said, I watched that right after we
yep,
did the episode.
Yep.
So I was primed for it.
Hell yeah, brother. They barely pull up the plane in time before hitting another plane.
So much good tension. I
Yeah.
love it. It's really good.
Really good sequence. Because now that's like this is the end of them getting control over the plane, right? And it's
Yeah.
like everything has been building up to this moment of almost
It's a
hitting the
lot of
plane.
action, dude. It
It's
like
crazy,
so much action.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So much. Yeah,
It's jam packed.
I have a note that like the movie has just been like since they took over the plane, it's just been like go 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 go.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
And we have the VP getting sort of further briefed. You know, they're asking where are they going, like what's going on. And the one guy, Dean Stockton, the Walter Dean, the Secretary of Defense, the way he fucking says to the Vice President, "Calm down, I'm in charge," you know.
Yeah.
And then I love her responses. She's like, "Seems to me they're in charge," you know.
Yeah, totally.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I wrote here that the vice president just has great presence. I thought her performance was really strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was great. We see them rounding up all the hostages. And you know, Ivan fucking livid that they let the president escape.
Yep. And then
And the next part I think is the 6 murdered Russian crew members.
yes, they tell you that they found the dead news crew. They suspected traitors on the plane.
Well, also they say the thing about like, no, you can't just like kill them and take their place. You would need to generate fake fingerprints.
Yeah, so that's when she's like, yeah, because she's like, tell me it's not that easy, right? Which I like because it should be pretty fucking hard to pull this off.
There's the general. I think he's like an Air Force general, and he goes, maybe a little help from Moscow. Like, and he's like so like dubious of like their like alliance the whole time.
Yeah, it reminds me of Arrival a little bit. Not to jump to a previous category, but just like the you have the one guy who's like whose job is to find the threats, and he's assuming the worst the whole time.
It also reminded me of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's not an alien. He's from Moscow.
Yeah,
I just want. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, then we also get confirmation that the codes have been changed, which is just like a nice kind of like, with all this tension going on, it's like, okay, we're gonna wrap that up with a bow right here, and it's like a nice moment of relief.
Yeah,
right?
there's also the mention of like, how do they get the weapons on there? You can't do that, and they're like, and she says there's enough weapons on there to like take care of it. So it was just like, who gave them access? I want to mention here, there's a White House aide who is, his name in the credits is Thomas Lee, and I immediately recognized his voice. Actor's name is Spencer Garrett, and he plays Chick Hearn in the show Winning Time. Chick Hearn was the play-by-play announcer for the Showtime Lakers of like the 1980s.
Wow.
But yeah,
Deep cut.
he also he was the president of like SAG, I think, previously.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
His mom was an actress, Kathleen Nolan, I think.
Interesting. It's some good stuff.
Yeah, just a little trivia corner.
Yeah, like
Shout out to my hoop heads.
Hoop heads. Yeah, the hijackers interrogate the passengers. Every time this happens, it's extremely tense and scary. I love you get the
Yeah, I think the starting this part is the helicopter has located the pod as well, right?
Yeah. I think that's right after this. The first lady confronts Oldman.
No, it's before where they have a little thing on the helicopter where like we've located the pod.
Oh, okay, and then
they've located.
But
it.
then the Red Berets find it after
Yeah,
whoever
yeah.
those guys are. Right. Okay. Yeah, so he puts a gun to her head. She's basically saying he's not going to negotiate with you, and he's like, I think he will negotiate.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a great scene. I love the way she's like so confident, and he points that gun at her, and she just like you see like the cracks like immediately form,
and just like how strong-willed she is. To, like they're trying to hold her back, and she confronts him head to head. Like
I thought it was good.
That's awesome.
I liked it.
But then, we get the. I meant to look this up, like who the Red Berets would belong to, what kind of special forces that is. If that's like that, I'm assuming that is an actual uniform. But
yeah, I don't know. I just like the soldiers are checking the pod.
Yeah, find the empty pod.
Yeah, plot twist. Pod is empty.
Still aboard. Yeah, he snuck out the top of it somehow.
It was the way he just kind of pops out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so fucking.
That happens maybe one other time where I'm like, I don't know if you showed us how this happened, but okay. Where he just like kind of sneaks out of a crack.
No, because they want it to be like they want it to be a surprise. But yeah, I'm just like, I wish I like. I mean, I don't know. I just wish I knew how he did it. I don't know. Like Harry Houdini.
Yeah.
Dude, what if the president was Harry Houdini?
I mean, I think they. This is how he could have done it, right? So they lock him in there. There is a room around the pod, as we see. He's looking through a window that has the pod in it. So once they locked him in there, he just opened the door and got out. So he's in the room where the pod is, and then he climbed up and held on.
Word for sure. It just seemed like the Russian dudes were like right behind them. And don't they see him through the window?
No, they just see the pod.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, maybe maybe just like it I think and maybe it was there, but just like showing him getting thrown in cuz don't they throw him in and get shot? Like
No, but so what I'm saying is there's two layers of doors. There's a door, there's a room surrounding the pod. So they threw him into the pod, but there's
wow.
another door.
A lot of business. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
business.
Yeah.
They do show that they've collected all of the weapons on the ship, and then they send someone to go check downstairs.
Yeah, so
And this is that shot, I think, or no, well, it'll be later on, but the like weirdly inserted shot is
Yeah.
like
coming
yeah.
up, yeah. I've been playing the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake is coming out at the end of this month, and I'm super excited about that. So I've been going back and playing some of the old ones, and this whole sequence here, like all of the stealth stuff, I was like, this is straight up some Metal Gear stuff where they have like a patrol pattern, like the guards are going in a certain kind of like back and forth
I
direction.
literally made that note.
Like a
as
Metal
well.
Gear note.
Like, well, just like well, it's still like I
Stealth
did say
game.
Metal Gear Solid specifically, but it did make me think of that, or like what's the Tom Clancy one, Splinter Cell?
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Or
just-
even like some of the Spider-Man.
I believe they
games.
call it tactical espionage games. Yeah.
Some of the Spider-Man games have like some really cool like stealth components as well, where you can like bypass a bunch of enemies.
Yeah, just like the like kind of good guard patrol pattern stuff just really made me think of that, and it was fun to watch, like having that on my brain.
There's also like a cutaway shot to Gary Oldman. They're making like a call, and I quit smoking cigarettes, but when he's smoking the cigarette here, I was like, dude, he's making that look really really tasty. He's making that cigarette look so tasty.
Hell yeah.
Cigarettes are in, I hear.
Is that right?
Cigarettes
They're
are
back?
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
We should smoke on the podcast.
Okay.
Just kidding, kids. Don't smoke cigarettes.
That will be our little. We'll try a different brand every week.
And
Oh
then,
yeah.
part of this whole business that you're mentioning too is we see the guy coming down. This is the shot that is inserted at 23:44 for some reason. But I love you see the guy takes a left and the president goes down the hallway. This like perfectly timed sort of like, almost Rube Goldbergian sort of like
Yeah.
firing off of like all the blocking.
Yeah, you gotta just make your move at the right time.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good tension. I mean, it's basically Die Hard on a plane, but like the fact that they were able to do that in such a like entertaining, like it's not that big of a space compared to something like the Die Hard building where you have all these floors and like so much room to move around, and yet they have
Or like Middle Earth, right?
yeah, and you just have so much you have so much going on around that, between the politics, between the the other jets, between Radek, between like there's a lot moving.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of good pieces and everything. Like you said, there's a lot of good business, a lot of fun business that kind of keeps the tension up and like the threads going. And speaking of business, we see that the terrorists are calling the vice president, right?
Yeah.
And she wants to talk to the first lady to know that they're safe. And there's a line here where Ivan says that the president is safe. He ran like a whipped dog. And then he says to her, I bet you can't wait for him to get back to making the decisions again. And he says something about like, you must be sweating through your silk blouse.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
Yeah.
So wild. I was like, damn.
Yeah, he sucks.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, he really sucks. And he also, so this happens on both sides, which I appreciate. He gives away that he doesn't have the president,
Yeah.
which is an important thread for them. But then they give it away later that they don't have the president. Some good stuff here. Yeah, and then, so we get kind of a peek into his mind a bit here where he's talking about, like, what arrogance do you think that you could have to ever understand my intentions?
Which, I mean, is like a very like douchey line, but there was something about it that like where like I was like, oh man, that silk blouse comment, that's fucking gross. But then his sort of like response into that, I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm kind of back in. Like I got there's something about the like the fucking gravitas with which he delivers that I was like, wow.
Yeah, and then he gives this whole line of like my like I basically will keep fighting until Mother Russia becomes one great nation again. And he starts to lay out all the members of the president's staff he has, And I like that he mentions, and the president's baseball glove.
Yeah, but he does state his intention. He wants Radek released.
Yes.
And he's gonna execute a hostage every half hour.
Which we love timers.
Yeah, we do love
amazing
timers.
timer in this movie.
And then he hangs up, and we see the people disperse to go off to work.
Yeah,
you know?
and that happens a couple times where everyone's like, okay, shit, and like everyone just like breaks into their
There's even
their
like
roles
the
and
chatter,
stuff.
like I think that you hear someone go like, "Let's get a language expert on this" or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, that shit. I love the procedural, all that sort of
Yeah.
like all that business is
Does
super fun.
reinforce at the end of the call too, how's your blouse doing?
Yeah,
Like at
yeah.
the end of after all that, because I'm sweating as the viewer. So
Yeah. And in this scene, this is also where we get that they found the escape pod. It's empty, and they're like, "So where's the president?" And somebody's like, "I think we may have to like confront the fact that he may be dead."
yeah.
And then the other general is like, "Nah, man. No, he could definitely still be on that plane and be alive, dude. This guy was in Vietnam. He was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam.
He was a Medal of Honor winner, which I believe is the highest honor you can get in the military, which it's basically like you did some like actual superhero heroic shit. So, yeah, interesting that he was a helicopter pilot. I was wondering if they should have set this up sooner or if it's a good move to not reveal how capable he is until the moment that he needs to use these skills. I wasn't quite sure where I landed there, because it did feel like a little bit kind of like, oh, by the way, he's actually like super badass, so don't worry about it. Like
yeah,
last minute.
I mean, like, I don't think the level of skill set up by what they said, it's wild, dude. Like what he does is like pretty wild. And I mean, there's some parts where it does kind of feel like he's maybe like, you see that he's not as well equipped as like, I don't know, but
Yeah, like would have made more sense just like, oh, he was in Black Ops or something, like
or like you know what, like
a Navy SEAL.
or like also part of me is like, fuck it, he's a lawyer. like who cares? Like he just like, yeah, he knows how to shoot a like let's like
I mean, he
like
definitely
either give me more or give me less. It's just like I think it's like it's all, again, like I said, this is like the suspension of like disbelief is there. It's a fucking action movie where the president is an action hero. Like I'm okay with you just being like, this is the premise, boom. Either like go into a little bit more detail or don't like.
I mean, they do need to set up that he can fly a plane, right? And so they set that up. But I also I think that
Harrison Ford knows how to fly planes.
Sure, but like
He could be a hobbyist.
but he's clearly militarily trained.
But
I think
also, like, fuck
setting
it.
him up as a Medal of Honor winner, I do think is important because it shows that like this is the type of person who, in a situation before where it was certain doom that they were going into, they still risked their lives in order to do something heroic. Like I think that's an important detail.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I also think with the flying the plane, like, I mean, I guess they get into it a little bit. There's a little bit of it. I also like, he gets coached through it like a lot. Like it's not even like he really like. It almost feels like he like doesn't need to know like as much as he's set up as knowing, because like when he does ultimately fly the plane, he does get like walked through it like a lot.
Yeah, but it still makes it more believable because, like, even if you're getting walked through it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I'm just, like, not needing, like, the belief as much in this. Like, it already feels like I said earlier. It's kind of, like, very, like, not fantastical, but it is, like.
I think the helicopter pilot Medal of Honor thing is enough for me to, like, it props up that the rest of it is, like, could follow from
Yeah,
that.
but what I'm saying is it's not enough for me, so either give me more or give me less.
Sure, gotcha.
Give me more, give me less.
I love that the vice president says he has no right to take a chance with his life, because that was kind of what I was getting at earlier. Is like this is something you'd want like a father to do, to stay behind for his family, or like a boss to stay behind for his workers. But a president like putting his life on the line when you've been elected by the country to lead, and now you're putting yourself in a position that could put the whole world in a bad position.
Yeah, I mean the thing of the I can't remember what they call it later on, but I mean it kind of makes sense why the Secretary of Defense, like, there's like, it makes so much sense why he's not in the right headspace to make any decisions. We should be making decisions. And honestly, I kind of agree with them. Like, they should be. Like, just the fact that everything ends up going well.
Yeah. That's kind of what's interesting about it.
They
Yeah.
just like they end up just like we got lucky. Everything was timed perfectly.
Yeah, if he had failed in this, he'd be remembered as the idiot who didn't take the pot out of the plane.
Yeah.
But heroically, right? For his if it wasn't for his family being there, then like I feel like that's that kind of thing where everyone would be like, well, yeah, I wouldn't leave my daughter and wife behind either, so and so.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's understandable.
Yeah, I got him,
We have the military like snare drum too in the fucking like score as he pops out stealthily.
Yeah. This is where I wrote some Metal Gear stuff. He's dodging patrols. He's peering
This
between
is where
cracks.
I wrote it too. Yeah.
Very fun. Got to wait for them to turn their back.
Okay, this happens a lot in the movie too, where like so he's like trying to use the phone and he sees the Jets, and then he sees the football game, and he's cooking up an idea.
Yeah, there's
and
a lot of
this
that.
happens so much in the movie, and I'm just like, I don't know what. Like they never make it something where it's like, oh, maybe you can figure it out. It's just like no. Then suddenly it's like I'm like, wait, I had a half idea. I'm like, is he gonna just turn up the volume on the like game really loud to distract someone? And he does do that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, then what's with the? I mean, I guess he needs to know that the Jets are there. But it's just really funny. I love how he's like, I have an idea. It's kind of like MacGyver-y almost.
Yeah,
I feel
well,
like.
I think it's him putting the pieces together
Yeah, for
and
sure.
and finding a plan from that.
I guess I would have liked it if it was a little bit more like, every time he does it, I'm like, what? What are you going to do? What are you thinking? Like, give me a little something. Like, let me feel a little smart.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
can't because this movie is about how the president of the United States, James Marshall, is the greatest single human being to have ever lived.
Yeah, he's pretty badass.
Harrison Ford had to take out his earring to play this guy. I think he should have left in his earring to play this guy, honestly.
That's right. And yeah, they get into some more kind of debates about the worth of Raditz, and he's basically saying like this is the Secretary of Defense.
Raditz?
Oh my gosh, I wrote his Raditz. Yeah, because I wrote his Radic the first time, and then at some point I started writing Raditz in my notes, which is just straight up a Dragon Ball Z villain. So yeah, 50 people may be worth the price of Radic, or is what they're asking. And like, because the Secretary of Defense is like, yo, if everyone on that plane has to die for Radic to stay in prison, like,
yeah,
like that dude killed 200,000 people and might
I mean,
become the dictator.
the word genocide like gets thrown around, at a certain point as well. Like, yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Yeah,
and it's a trolley problem, which is always like an impossible question. How do you weigh a life versus many lives?
Yeah. And I think the vice president, she's like, well, could we release Radic and just pick up the pieces afterwards? Which I mean is a fair sort of thing to say, to almost be like, hey, we don't have to be like, we can maybe I don't see like what we can do, almost like breaking the trolley problem into two steps. Like, we can save everybody,
Yeah. And
it's like at the end of Batman Forever, where he drops the two people, and he has to choose who to save. Does a classic save both?
Totally.
That was also, is that what we watched a movie where that also
Spider-Man. Yeah, they're on the bridge. He's holding Mary Jane and the
bus.
Yeah.
Yep, classic.
Yeah, they asked for a constitutional scholar to settle who has the authority here, the Secretary of Defense or the Vice President, which is some juicy like good tension, like both the good of democracy where it's like we have
I think they say they're going to contact the Attorney General.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Well, at some point, it is the Attorney General who they contact to like talk to about it. Also, the Vice President says she's going to try and talk to Petrov, who is the President of Russia.
And we have 19 minutes. And I think that's an important thing about countdowns that I think we've seen a couple times where they set up the timer, but they don't really go back to it very often. So it's like, there's a timer there, but I think it's important to kind of bring up how much is left on the timer sometimes, whether it's through a shot of like a bomb going off or her just saying, we got 19 minutes until they start, they execute someone.
Yeah, the tension with that I thought was great. We do see the president uses the TV volume to distract the guard. Then there's like that sudden beeping, and it's the dude's watch. That was pretty cool. I like that. And then President fucking wrestles this guy.
Yeah, he's hiding behind the chair. We get our first fight.
This would be an awesome video game. Like I would love. Like I think it'd make a better video game than it would make a movie. Almost. Like I would love to play
a whole game
James
just on
Marshall.
This plane though.
Yeah, why not, dude?
I don't know. Is it big enough?
Yeah, of course it's big enough. You could definitely do it.
All right. Maybe like a blimp. If we could get the president on like on a Zeppelin, I could see that as a full game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can do it. Like, I mean, it's not sure. Most of it is on the plane,
Sure.
but like maybe there's a little like extra, you know.
You get to play as the fighter pilots and stuff, like.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Or you're
Yeah.
in the vice president in the
That'd
office.
be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool if it was like there's like a whole like BioWare sort of like fucking like a dialogue tree portion with the VP.
Yeah.
There's the stealth game, and then there's like the flying.
Okay,
game.
now I'm on board. Now
You gotta
I'm on
like
board.
refuel the
Yeah,
plane.
yeah.
Like you play as different parts of it. That's fun idea. That's really cool.
And then if you beat the game, you can now play as the terrorists taking over the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you would just like kill everyone right off. I don't know. And then what are you doing? Then you're doing another BioWare like fucking like it's like negotiating.
You're also Radek in the prison. You gotta like do some prison politics and stuff.
Or like strangle a guy or like shiv him. Yeah. Okay.
I wrote here good realistic choreography. It felt very like kinetic, like they're really working off each other.
Yeah. It's like he's like hiding behind the chair, right?
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny.
And this is a really interesting detail that I think the helicopter pilot thing fits into well, because I was wondering, like, does that mean he like has killed someone before? And it becomes pretty clear. I think he hasn't ever killed anyone before. He takes him out with a stool here, makes the choice not to kill him. He takes his keys. He goes to open the conference door. The guy starts shooting at him. He turns around and shoots him, and we do get like a moment there where he's like, "Oh damn! I just fucking killed someone."
Yeah, I had a similar take there for sure. And also I think there's part of it is like, oh shit, we just made a lot of noise. Like they're like coming after me.
For sure.
And then he goes to by the bathrooms. Another moment where he's like, I'm cooking up an idea.
Yeah, this is the second moment I was referring to earlier, where I have no idea how he got into the basement from here. Do they show something? Like, is there a panel he's looking at or
that's
something?
That's what I figured is going on. Yeah,
I could have used something there, but
Hey.
But it sets up the moment of opening the stall one at a time.
Well, he shoots them all too.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of smart. You're like, yeah, I mean, don't open the door first.
Yeah.
Shoot the door.
Of course.
Wait, can you imagine if they shot the door and then they opened it? Oh, fuck.
And he's just
the president.
He's just fucking dead in there for sure.
Because, I mean, come on. If they killed the president, like, who knows what would happen, right? Like,
Radek's not getting out, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean.
They're not going to release Radek over the First Lady, like
former First Lady.
Yeah, former First Lady. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, how dark. Yeah, but like you said, we see that he's like gotten into the like bottom part, and he's like digging. He
starts looking through
all
luggage.
the baggage is there,
yeah.
And this is where we see some Bud beer. We've got Bounty, the Quaker Picker Upper, and we have Quaker Oats all down there, like just big boxes. It's like a huge, like 3 cases of fucking Bud.
Hell yeah. A lot of football to watch.
A lot of football to watch. So I imagine the beer he was drinking earlier was a Budweiser.
I would hope so.
You would hope? You would think?
So the Russian president is on the phone with the vice president.
Can't release Radek.
Yeah, and he says maybe if he knew he was saving the president's life, but he has to know the president is alive. They don't know where the president is.
Yeah, Petrov says, let's be pragmatic. 50 lives is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Which is like the sort of like the second time this has been brought up, right? This idea of like, I mean, if you're weighing it,
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call. I don't know what the right move is here. Like, I don't have an answer to this question, which it's a great philosophical question for a reason, right?
Yeah, and what I like as well is like she says back to him something about like, okay, well, if you're gonna play it like that, well, bro, our president really went out on a limb for you, bro. Like he helped you guys out big time, and like, okay, if that's the way you thank him, then whatever, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Petrov's like, sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro.
And then they tell to get the generals to work, which I wasn't exactly sure what that meant, but I imagine sort of like working out ways to solve the problem, I guess.
Yeah, they're coming up with every kind of solution they can.
Yeah. Ivan finds his dead buddy.
Yeah,
he's sad because
again, like a really
5 years in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I love the whole like comrade stuff with him, and just like how much of a human there is under this monster, but it's he's not like Howard Payne, right? Where that dude was just an absolute psychopath, had no empathy or feeling for humanity.
there is so much pain like in his performance. Like
Yeah.
there's so much trauma. It is like man, this is like what's really
Good.
getting
It's
at
good.
me. This is what like is so compelling about this character is that this like real fuck man, like it feels like I mean he says like, I have 3 children. Like and yeah, just so many questions about like what happened, right?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Yeah, and it's one of those things because we really don't get much background from him, but it's like they do it in a way where you don't really need to, like,
Yeah.
because he just puts it out there.
Could you imagine a movie you like sit there, you like watch an entire movie and like it's all about like this dude and like being like radicalized and then the like friggin' Prestige is like it ends with the beginning of Air Force One.
I was just thinking that. That's so funny. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think there's like a very compelling like story there.
Oh yeah.
And
absolutely.
I love how it's like hinted at. It doesn't you don't have to be hit over the
Exactly.
head with it. But yeah, I mean, and the emotional performances that he like delivers, really good shit.
It's really good. And he says, "Find out who killed him or lie down next to him."
Yeah,
Good
it's a
line.
fucking badass.
There's so many good lines.
Yeah. The president's rifling through his luggage. He's looking for his weed because Harrison Ford loves smoking weed. And if you're the president, you can take weed wherever you want.
That's right.
That's what they say.
I think we got 3 minutes until they execute a hostage now.
Yeah, and they mention they can't stay in the air forever, right? Like, and they tell VP you got to buy us time.
Yep.
3 minutes is not enough.
Which is just so like fuck. Like how do you there's nothing she can do in this situation. I feel for the vice president here because she's just like in between a rock and a hard place, has to be the messenger that basically lets someone die.
I mean, she buys them 30 more minutes.
Yeah.
That's what Ivan says. This whole part is kind of
They go to the conference room.
this is such a good like scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan gets ready. He says to transfer the phone to the conference room. He tells him, "All right, give me the first lady and the first daughter." And then I think and then Jack is gonna kind of like Jack intervenes, and I thought he was gonna be like, "Oh, take me instead," But no, what he intervenes to do is to be kind of arrogant and like, well, I guess there's some pragmatic to it, but he like I
think he's saying I'm the highest ranking officer here. If like I'm the one you should be negotiating through.
right, no, but what I thought he was gonna say is like, if you're gonna kill anyone, kill me, right?
Right.
But no, it's not that. It is just like this very like almost like Weasley like, hey man, I'm the one you want to be. And he also like calls the vice president useless basically, which I mean I totally see in the scheme of the power and stuff.
Yeah, he says it's it's kind of like the Queen of England is what he compared it
Yes,
to.
he does,
Ceremonial
yes.
role. Yeah.
He says that if she even needed like plane tickets, she would have to go through him or some shit like that.
So it's funny. Yeah, you take it as him being a little scoundrelly here. I took it as him kind of just trying to take responsibility for the situation. So I actually took it as kind of a brave moment.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought he was trying to like make himself of more importance, which oddly I think made it so that when he's like, okay, and just like shoots him, I'm like, okay, well like you fulfilled your role, which is to put your body in front of like a woman and a child,
Yeah, yeah, and it did remind me of Die Hard. If this is a direct like inspiration from that, because there is a moment like that as well where some guy like tries to negotiate and tries to put himself as like the person who can fix all this and then gets immediately killed.
Yeah. And then they're like they are like on the phone with the vice president and like he's like, we need more time, and he's like, all right, you got more time.
He was a great negotiator. He bought you 30 minutes, something like that is what he says, which damn.
He's a very good negotiator. He bought you 30 more minutes. And this is where he takes the first lady, the first family off, away from the rest of the hostages.
Which is an extremely smart and important move for the rest of the movie.
Speaking of smart and important, the president finds his weed gummies and his cell phone so he can play Tetris while he gets stoned.
That's the real reason he stayed on the plane.
I need to do the New York Times games.
Yeah, he gets on the phone, and we get a scene where Oldman talks to the first daughter.
Yeah, he's talking to Alice, and this is the thing I was bringing up about like how he's like, you think I'm a monster, and he mentions that he has 3 children.
Yeah, well, this is a really powerful scene in general. She asks, "Why did you kill him?" And I find it so interesting that he feels the need to try to kind of win her over to an extent, where he's like, he he knows that the adults are too brainwashed to like, understand his motivations, but that's why he's almost like appealing to a child to be like, can you see that like it's your father that's the monster? It's like it's your country that's the monster.
Well, yeah, I think he's like you think I'm a monster, like we're two sides of the same coin, like your country and my country. And I love what he said. He's like, your father is killed.
Yeah.
And she's like, kind of like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, what, you think because he does it in a tuxedo with a telephone bomb, that makes it okay? Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's so good. And this is the part where we do get the like, why did you kill him? Because I believe, and that he says like, I would turn my back on God. And holy shit, this is wow, dude.
Yeah. I would turn my back on God himself for Mother Russia. And then he goes into more about how he would like turn away from his own morality and everything that is implied with that, which again is implying that there used to be a more kind of like empathetic person underneath this all, but they're long gone. I think
that's one of the most compelling parts about him as a villain is that like you see that like he wanted to make the world a better place, I think, at a point, like
he wanted Mother Russia to thrive.
And he still thinks that's what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
But he's like turned to like violent, like reprehensible means, really.
Yeah, exactly. And then he kisses her on the forehead like an absolute creep, which is just like,
I thought it was kind of sweet.
No, it's not sweet.
It's so threatening. Yeah, she's just like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, just again, like, but really like what you were talking about, where they're really twisting the kind of like feelings around this guy, where they're making him empathetic, but then they're making him extra creepy, and it's like how like because from his perspective, it's almost like he's being sweet, like a father to this daughter of the world or whatever. And it's just like, dude,
I teared up during the part where he says the thing about like, I would turn my back on like God.
Yeah, it's a really good line.
That level of belief. Well, because okay, dude, this is the thing. They are literally two sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. Harrison Ford believes so strongly that he can, that he needs to be active in like using America as a police force to save the world, and Ivan is like they're both so driven by belief, right? Like,
yeah. And Alice says to him, "You're nothing like my father. My father is a great man," which I think is setting up the kind of like we see this a lot, is the mirror image of our hero in the villain, and them having to kind of confront that.
Yeah, have you seen Air Force 2? That's the one where Harrison Ford hijacks a plane because now he's a terrorist,
right?
Yeah, and he's like, because
his daughter's president, and she's in prison.
He's a January 6er, and his daughter ran on the Democratic ballot. Yeah, there's a real but anyway,
wild movie.
Yeah, I mean, he smuggles in a bunch of ivermectin.
Yeah, and then this whole sequence of him calling into the White House
switchboard.
Well, I
mean, he's stoned out of his gourd. He can't remember the phone number for the White House.
I love it though. She doesn't believe him. Trace the goddamn call. And he gets a gun put on him, and you hear her like realize when she traces, like while he's at gunpoint, like, "Oh my God, I'll put you right through, Mr. President." Yeah. And then he's like on the phone in the Situation Room with the vice president, but the phone's in his pocket, so they have to hear the president in a life-to-life struggle or battle to the death struggle.
It's pretty funny. And then they like, so he like does this thing where he's like saying stuff out loud.
Oh, this is I really like this.
Yeah, this is smart. He's like, "Oh, like Air Force One could easily, like, a missile won't hurt us." And he's like, "Why are you telling me this?" Like, "I just want you to be like assured." And they're like, "Okay, he wants us to shoot the like,"
which is insane, but I fucking love it. It's
cool the way the like chaff is like deployed.
Yeah,
and then like the fucking they like totally like goes into autopilot, and like they fucking like turn one way, and then of course the fucking president strikes. Hi-ya, hi-ya,
pacha.
And he takes that guy out.
Really good stuff.
He fucking murks that fool.
Really good stuff.
He's getting a taste for blood.
Yeah. Again, probably one of the most unbelievable things is just like how good he is at fighting, but stuff like this of him using his mind and his knowledge of like the plane and everything.
Yeah, there's like struggling. It feels like very sort of like visceral, like sort of like fighting, Yeah. And it's just the like
it feels like something he could barely make it out of.
Yeah, it's America that
comes through.
It's the two like set of footsteps in the sand, and when James Marshall couldn't do it alone, it was us, America, holding him, carrying him. Yeah. Don't fail me, red, white, and blue.
Oh my, that's the cheesiest part for sure. I love it though. Kind of.
That's insane.
It's so insane.
So I think this is where once he murks the guy, he gets on the
He
phone.
breaks his neck, which is like a very visceral way to kill someone. But
he like puts him in the chokehold and like, but he's getting the whole lowdown on the situation. They've ruled out a mid-air rescue, so they need to find a way to land this.
Yeah, and he doesn't want them to release Braddock.
No,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't. Well, I mean, this is where he's like taking me off speakerphone, and he tells her, he's like, "We can't release Braddock. Like, we can't give in to their demands." And he convinces her
With this line, yeah.
which is so fucking dumb. He says, "If you give a mouse a cookie," and then she like is like, "Oh, he's gonna want a glass of milk."
So the
way she's like, "Oh, of course."
I think it's a goofy way, but the way they do it makes me think that this is something from their past together, like from their campaign trail, because she kind of like gives like a half smirk, which to me was like, this is an inside thing with them.
It's a stupid inside joke. It's
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
I'm with you.
I feel like an emotional appeal would almost be better. Like, what's the most compelling thing about him? You've said it repeatedly. He's a family man. I don't know. Like, like what if he said like, imagine if Jeannie, and Tom were in this situation. Like, I don't know.
But he is appealing to the political side of this, not the emotional side, which is part of the reason that she doesn't sign away his authority in the matters, because he's looking at this like, yo, we release Raddick. You think this is over? No. Like, he's going to ask for more. Like, he still has all the leverage.
Like, she literally said before, what if we just release him and then we pick up the pieces, right? Like, I feel like I think there's an awareness. I don't know. It's just, let's not linger on it too long, but I was definitely like, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I feel you. I think the appeal to logic makes sense. It's just like a really goofy line to make it work.
It's an aphorism. Like, that's not like, it's not how smart people convince each other of things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got Oldman running out of patience.
Yeah, he's pissed about the dude downstairs.
He has a hostage brought up. Yeah, he looks at the first family and comes up with a plan.
Well, what happens is he's like whispering, and then suddenly he like stares at them.
Yeah.
And then we see that the president is going towards the AC fuel control. Oh, because what happens is, they say the whole thing like, give a mouse a cookie, he's gonna want milk. And then there's this guy who like is I think he's going down to go check on one of the, maybe I think he's like poking his head downstairs, but you see that the president sees the milk cartons in the broken fridge, and that's when he gets another idea. Again, this is happening so much.
Yeah, I would definitely have that moment here where like,
what?
Yeah, what's your idea? Yeah.
And then he goes to the like fuel control?
It's because he saw the leaking.
Yeah,
from the broken, shot up stuff.
I thought what he was gonna do is, because I saw it said AC, I was like, is he gonna like fuck with like the temperature regulation and like I don't know, like, but I wasn't sure.
This whole sequence is wild. I don't know. Are there wires you can cross on a plane to just release fuel? Like, I guess maybe. I don't know. It seems insane, but.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. But yeah, I don't know. I imagine you could do anything with wires.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're aware that there's someone down there now. Like, so they're kind of like, they're watching the door, and I love how we've had it set up, right? Like, this is the way in and out. And then yes, we got Ivan has invited the press secretary up, right?
This scene has always stuck with me because it's just like
on the PA, yeah,
extremely fucking haunting and like tragic, and her performance as she's like dealing with the end of her life.
It is
like, damn, bro,
so well done. And I love something that they didn't do in Speed, which is they don't show her die.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show her get shot.
Yeah.
I feel like the Beth Grant death in Speed would have worked a little bit better for me if I didn't. Again, I'm just gonna bring it up again. Her body going under that fucking bus. But I thought it was really well done, and it's like just like an audio cue, right? And you like hear that, and it's like, fuck, man.
Yeah, I don't want to die. It's just like, oh my god.
And he says this is to the Secret Service agent in the baggage deck.
Yeah,
you know?
so he's counting to 10, and this is so like we were talking about his performance here. I thought like this is another great moment for Harrison Ford. I thought where he's like grappling, like he's like, okay, I got to run up, but I can't. Like they're right there, like, and he's just him like completely torn, like about.
Yeah,
his
it's
power
wild.
in this situation.
There's this. I'm definitely like, damn, he just let her die.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because he's grabbing a butter knife from the dishwasher. He's got this,
He's got.
and he's angry.
Yeah, and when you hear the gunshot too, you just hear his daughter scream in the background, and then it cuts
Yeah.
out. It's just like, oh my god, dude, that's so heart wrenching.
Everyone's crying too. Like,
yeah, and then this confrontation between the first lady and Ivan.
in war, people die. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't war. You murdered an unarmed woman.
And then he says the amazing line, like, you who murdered the 100,000 Iraqis to save a nickel on a gallon of gas are going to lecture me on the rules of war.
Yeah, great.
Fuck, man, it's
line.
really good. It's so good.
Line.
And there's another aspect to this that I kind of picture is like, I don't know what Ivan's background is, but I kind of picture him being like a working class dude. And like, I picture what the president's wife's life was probably like Ivy League, like rich family, all this stuff. I don't know. There's an interesting contrast, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Fuck. I love a maniac that makes sense.
Yeah. When you start like thinking about if the villain has some like good points, I think that's the sign of a really well written villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the people in the conference room that are kind of starting to break down, and so this is kind of that microcosm of community stuff here a little bit, where
right before this is the mention of the president wanting to dump fuel. Where you're like, okay, this is what he wants to do.
Right. But yeah, they're kind of saying like, what is he doing down there? He's
How can a Secret Service agent be like putting all our lives at risk?
Yeah, which is good stuff.
And William H. Macy says, he's our only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he's kind of He's definitely his like hype man throughout this movie.
He's like a voice of reason. Yeah. Well, okay. Also, they don't know it's the president. They think it's a rogue Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
Which I think like really sort of makes like I can see why they're like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we get the instructions on how to dump the fuel, and he has to cut the wires, but his phone battery dies.
Cut green wire and cross it with and then it dies. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he played so much Tetris when he got stoned. That's what you don't see. There's like 2 hours where he's just sitting on top of all the baggage, stoned out of his mind, just like playing Tetris. Well, I think he played Snake for a little bit. Yeah. That's in the longer version, the director's cut.
A little bit of Pong in there.
Yeah. Counting on you, red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
don't let me down.
How fucking cheesy. This is definitely like the most rah 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 moment of like. But then there's this other part of me that's like, it is Air Force One. Maybe they fucking designed this in mind.
It makes sense.
But it kind of doesn't at the same time, because it's like, you cut those wires and cross them only for this exact situation of releasing the fuel. Is it red, white, and blue the ones that like the plane will die if you cut one of those?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like a short circuit thing that's dumping the fuel.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's fine.
It's fine. First official podcast appearance by my good friend Mr. Beans.
Mr. Beans is in the house.
Mr. Beans is in the house.
Yep. So the fuel, he chooses the patriotic.
He does what we would all do.
Yeah, we're not cutting red, white, and blue.
No, baby. No, not at all. Also, those are very common flag colors, so I can stand behind that.
The fuel lines leak.
We see that the F-15 pilots notice.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much does this help them at all?
Yeah, they get to low enough that they can jump off.
Oh, you're right. Yes, so it is very important this happens.
Yeah, it ultimately is. I love that too.
Yeah,
like
me too.
It's good business because so you see that the pilot notices that they're leaking fuel. Elliot Baskin.
Yeah, you get another shootout below deck. Yeah.
I think his name is Kolchak. Is the pilot's name. Yeah, there's a gunfight down there. They get into the avionics control. It's Sergey and actually Kolchak get in there, and they I think they're able to do something to stop the dumping of the fuel.
Yeah, and he tricks the soldier with Russian here, which was set up during his speech at the beginning, and then he can speak Russian.
He also his the first lady, or no, someone says something to him about the Russian was a nice touch, and he was like, my mother wanted me to take French. Pretty good.
It's good.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we need to refuel in air.
Yeah, and I like how Ivan is like, I know you can refuel me midair, so give me the fucking fuel.
Yeah, he's smart. I love how on top of everything he is throughout the whole movie.
Great. It's really good. It's a great chess match between them. That all of the political and corny shit like aside, like it's a well constructed story. Like
Absolutely, yeah, and like his negotiating tactic here is we'll execute a hostage every minute, and I think someone
yeah,
from the staff,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we'll execute someone from the staff every minute that you
I
don't
think he
agree
says
to
he's
this.
gonna work his way down the hierarchy or something like that.
Yeah, damn, bro. And yeah, the president has snuck upstairs using that guy as a kind of cover.
Yeah.
He gets into the conference room.
And they say, Jim, what are you doing here? I never left.
And he gives the gun to the traitor here.
Yes. Can I also say when he walks in the room, the lighting changes.
Oh, I didn't
Like
notice.
a light comes on.
Oh, I didn't notice.
It's like, it's like he's Jesus Christ himself.
Hell
the
yeah.
second coming.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, dude, red, white, and blue Christianity.
I love that beat of him giving the gun to the traitor because it does seem like he's probably
Yeah.
the last of the Secret Service left, so it
Yeah.
makes sense.
It does. And also, like, we saw them talking to each other. He calls him Gibbs at the beginning. Like, he knows him. Like,
Yeah.
there seems to be some trust there, right?
Yeah, and they have this is when they come up with the plan with the emergency parachutes.
Right.
Unlike
well, they
that-
say, let's use the guns to take the plane back. He's like, we can't do that until I know where my family's at.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're like, let's make them try to land. Like, he's like, I tried to do that, but now they're getting refueled. And yeah, like you said, William H. Macy has this pretty good plan.
Yeah, unlike the Titanic, they have enough parachutes to go around here.
Oh, yeah, more than enough. Yeah, for sure.
And I love this little moment for this random side character. This felt very real to me. She's just like someone who handles sending reports back and forth or whatever. She's
In
like,
credits, she's future postmaster general.
is she? Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. That's so good. Yeah, because she comes up with the plan for the fax machines and is like, if this works, I'll make you postmaster general, which is so good.
Well, he says no, they cut the phone lines because he
Yeah.
tried to use the phone in his room earlier.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, fax and phone, different encryptions.
Yeah.
And I do love that they like when they eventually do send the fax, like the shot is of the fax arriving and no one looking at it.
Yeah, which is a nice tension thing because it's like
Yeah,
everything else
very-
is going on
It
around.
was very funny.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is where she says that she's proud of him.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm proud you stayed.
Yeah.
It's really corny, but it's
corny,
kind of cute.
It works for me.
I like her. I think she's good too.
Yeah.
Like, and I like the way she kind of delivers it. It's a fun
It's
bit.
believable. I mean, someone's saving your life.
I just wouldn't say I'm proud you stayed.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a specific word. I'm like, thank you so much for like staying.
Yeah.
Like, or like, I'm so glad you're here. Like,
But in a moment that you work for the president, and here they are, how much of the
I think
news is
this-
shitting on them, and here he is risking his life for his own staff. Like, that's,
Yeah,
that's a
I
moment
get-
to be proud of your boss. you
I
know?
guess it's just like the word proud is just like, I don't know. There's like, I don't know. Like, I just would use different words, and I think maybe it is because like I'm just like my brain isn't really like wired or tooled for like proud, patriotic, like Also, like I think it's maybe because I've heard people before who say like they're like, oh man, people are like, oh, I'm so proud of you, and it's like I don't know. Pride is a weird thing.
Okay.
It's just such a choice, like of a word, like I'm proud of it. That's what feels like the
Well,
like.
but if-
there is that like patriotic bent on
100%. But like I was saying, like this is the manic pixie dream president. Imagine a president you could be proud of is like the idea here, right?
Sure, for sure. I wouldn't. Again, there's. I think that there's something to this language that I'm just like proud of a president. I mean, he's a public servant. Like
Yeah, but he's going above and beyond the call of duty.
I mean, yeah, but he's also fucking shit up a lot, like
Yeah.
geopolitically.
Yeah.
I mean, it is funny because there's this level of her being like, I'm so proud of you, and there's like this selfishness of like, you're saving me, like you're choosing me to save.
But I think that's one of the interesting questions, right? Like he stays behind, and that's great for everyone aboard. But everyone in the Situation Room is like, what is he doing?
No, it's great. It is
Yeah.
great, but I think I feel like like
Yeah.
he's not perfect. He's far from perfect. He's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a manic pixie dream president.
That's all.
He
That's all
loves
you can
football.
be. He loves football.
And then they get all the hostages carefully into the downstairs area.
Yep. And Air Force One has crashed on the news. This was some interesting business. I'm like, do we need?
That's where we see the unread facts. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
And
like,
Philip Baker Hall, before the news thing, shows up as the Attorney General.
Oh,
Philip Baker
okay.
Hall of Boogie Nights, who plays can't remember what his name is, but he's the like more modern director with like
Oh, yeah,
who's
yeah.
like it's all about VHS.
yeah, where the one he meets with in the
It's
office.
all about
yeah,
video. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I was wondering when we get that Air Force One is crashed on the news, I'm like, do we need this business? Is this too many wrinkles at this point? But I think what it does really well is that it brings in the public into the situation, so that like throughout the movie, their involvement, now it's not just this kind of closed circuit situation. Now it's like, oh, the whole world is watching
Well,
this
it like
unfold.
it pays off pretty quickly. Like we
Yeah.
have that, then we cut to all the hostages in the bottom getting their parachutes on. Then we cut to the press conference, and like we have the guy who's like, I can't say anything, and then the vice president comes out and is like, yeah, we it's been hijacked, and
Yeah.
I kind of love that she's like, let's be
Honest.
transparent about
Yeah, yeah.
this. So I think the payoff in that sense, I think it kind of like gets me more on like the vice president's side. Like,
And it's also important narratively because they give away here that they don't have the president, because Ivan starts asking, "Oh, where's the president?"
yeah, yeah. And she says that she can't tell them anything more, but James Marshall is still the president.
Yeah,
James Marshall, what a name.
for real. The fuel plane arrives, gives them the order that they need to drop to 15,000 feet, at a certain speed. This whole section is super good.
We also have we have a part with like everything good down there, and like a da, you know, just
Yeah.
like still like it being held at gunpoint.
Yeah.
I do love, again, with like timers, I love that the refueler shows up, everyone's waiting to jump, and they're at 30,000 feet, but they need to drop below 20, I think is what he said
15,000.
earlier.
Yeah.
I think he said below 20 earlier on.
Oh.
They dropped to 15.
Okay.
But I think William H. Macy says like that you have to tell them to go like anything above 20,000 feet is suicide.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't remember. The president doesn't want to leave though
No.
until he gets his family.
Neither will Gibbs.
Yeah, which is surprising. Feels like an easy out for this little weasel right here.
Yeah, I don't know.
The plane lowers. Yeah, again, like you said, the theme didn't do much for you, but like when it comes in here and they're all fucking jumping off the plane, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. This is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, like not in the beginning part. Like I think like maybe maybe the instrumentation is slightly different here, but some of those like big wide like the shots of everyone in the parachutes, that's fun. Like I'm having a good time.
I just like, for me it's extremely cathartic, the hijacker at the door trying to get in, and like the music's just full blast, like good feels, and you're seeing them get off the plane one by one. Just
yeah,
like,
that's Sergey. Sergey's pissed off. Dude.
yeah. I like his little plan he comes up with. I'm not sure if this would work like this. I've never, but like he puts a little fire hydrant in between the door handle and blows the door open with that. Super compressed gas, so maybe it would explode
Yeah, I
like
mean,
this.
who
I'm not
knows?
sure. I
I
don't think
mean-
it would be like a big flame thing, but it could bust the lock. Maybe
The shorthand of like this is gonna open the door. I'm like okay,
Yeah.
and like him like showing that they are like crafty as well. You know.
Yeah, and the way they show the depressurization here is super interesting, where it's just like, oh, now there's a vacuum because
The people like start getting sucked out.
sucks. Yeah, and you got the president hanging on the very, very edge by like the tiniest little handhold.
You see fucking the guy who the terrorists, they had counter hostage like flying through the air. Ah!
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, that's a way to go. It's a way to go for sure.
And like it also makes the plane like shudder, which
Yeah.
causes like a problem with the refueler.
Yeah.
And they need to detach, but it makes the like refueler explode, which I explained to you before we started recording would not happen.
Yeah, it was a moment where I'm like, I get why it's here. I mean, blow shit up if you can, I guess, for the sake of it. But it did feel like a little much to me. Just like, now we need to have this other plane blow up because of this moment. I guess it works. It just felt like excessive, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that I like just it like sort of like lurching, and then they like maybe have to like move away like that. That's enough for me. And then we have the major ask like to save the president, right? And Sergey lets him. Then Sergey and Gibbs share like a knowing stare, and they pull the president back in.
Yeah, good scene.
Turns out 34 people got out.
That's right. Which there were 50, so they know not everyone got off, but they also don't know how many people are dead. So
Yeah, and then Ivan does have the president now.
he has the jets back off
Yeah,
with that leverage.
yeah, he wants the military escort. Yeah, once they reach Kazakh airspace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if they do follow, he will execute a member of the first family.
Yeah, I mean,
And
what
this
are
is
you gonna do with that?
The presidential incapacity thing, right? Like this. Walter Dean, Secretary of Defense, asked the AG, like, would you sign a presidential incapacity?
Yep.
And he goes, yeah, I would sign it. And eventually we see everyone does sign it, except for the vice president,
Yep.
who tears it up.
At the very end, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad she did it at the very end. Like, it would have been ridiculous if she
Well,
just,
I like that she's
did
struggling
it
with
in
it
front
here.
of him. Yeah, no, for sure. It's good.
It sets up this arc that like kind of gut punched me in a weird way. I was like, when she tears it up, I was legitimately emotional, and I'm not sure how much of that was just the theme. I know. It
That's
sounds
insane.
cheesy, but like for whatever reason,
That's wild, dude. I
it
never
hit.
knew how much you loved America, dude.
No, it was about her not believing in someone, or like her hesitancy to believe in someone.
I mean, she is his vice president, his running mate. Like, they've worked closely together. Like,
Yeah.
and she believes in him, and that's sweet. It's compelling.
Yeah, I think it's just like that. It's just like I find it very touching that even in these dire circumstances, like it's their relationship that kind of pulls things through, you know?
Yeah. This next part, we have the president reunited with his family.
Yep.
Um,
Villain hero meet.
yeah.
Always
yeah.
good to
they
see.
They finally come face to face. He points a gun at his head and he tells him to pick who he wants him to kill, his wife or his daughter.
Yep, and he punches him, he kicks him. I really like I like this kind of moment of him kind of getting the measure of who the president is, and he's like, okay, I can't, like he has a much bigger spine than I was expecting, kind of like he's trying to rough him up, he's trying to threaten him, nothing's really working.
Well, he's telling him, I want Radic release. He's like, I can't do that, man. He's like, Petrov won't do it. And he's like, Petrov is a dog. He will do whatever you tell him
yeah,
to, you know?
and he says, that's what you do in the White House. You play God.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
He also says that, Petrov used me. Like, he's not going to release Radic. And we do get the setup of him picking up a little piece of glass that he's starting to use to saw out of his restraints.
Which is important in kind of an interesting moment for him, where he actually is willing to give up here, because we see that he doesn't use the glass until after he reveals, oh, I'm not going to let you go. That's when he actually starts cutting.
I think he has. I think
he's holding it, but he's not cutting.
I think he is like I made a note that he was think later on that he was, but I mean, at least here, I don't know. I have note trying to use a little bit of glass to cut himself out. I don't know why he wouldn't try to get himself out the way he's been acting the whole time.
Because of his family's safety. That's what it comes down to.
But dude, he's James Marshall. I mean, he stayed on the plane because he's gonna save his family.
Yeah. I mean, we can recheck the tape. Maybe he starts cutting here a little bit, but once his family gets threatened,
no, that's when you see him cutting to the point where he's bleeding, like where there's this like sort of like, I think he's like doing a very sort of like measuredly, slowly, right? Because I mean, even if he cuts himself out, he can pretend to like still have his hands behind his back. But I think like, to me, what it was is that now he's like desperate and he's like cut himself because you see the blood like coming down his hands as he's doing it. But maybe he's not cutting it. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, there was a very clear moment. We'll get there in a second. I thought the negotiation itself, was just very intense, very well acted.
I like the line, "This infection you call freedom."
Yeah.
Oh, man. I bet everyone in the theater stood up for that one. Yeah! Freedom!
He says, you have taken everything from us. There's nothing left. Which again is like powerful stuff.
Yeah. Did I mention he spits in his face?
Yeah.
I love that.
He grabs his daughter. He asks him, "Have you no honor?"
Yes, this is not. I think we're gonna differ on this. Not a strong performance for me. Like there's a lot of like, this is a guy who like typically when he acts doesn't have like, I mean, this is not one of his like strong suits, and I think that's okay. And I think he does a serviceable job, but I am like taken out of it a little bit, you know, like with the like, you know, we're soldiers, this whole sort of thing.
Sure,
but I do love the way that when he says, "I'll do it," the music stops immediately.
Yeah. For me, it was him grappling with his daughter.
I mean, I know what it is. Like it just it just didn't work.
For sure.
Is what I'm saying. Like I understand what he's grappling with, and like I understand the motivation of the performance, but I don't think the performance
landed for you.
No, it didn't. And what made it worse too was like he says, "I'll do it," and then you cut to Grace nodding, and she goes, "Yes." Like what the fuck is that? Like that's so weird.
Yeah, just relief, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, relief, yes, but does not work. Like, and I think relief can be expressed in so many other ways.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, I just felt like why? Yeah, like it's just like such like a cut to like like shot of her face. Yes, and it's just, and like I said, I like a lot of Grace's performance. That's like the one point where I'm like, what is like? It's not even just like her performance. It's like, what's the choice for like including this like in like the flow of it? But I I understood. I walked away from it knowing like, okay, I understand. Like everyone's very emotional, but again, I'm like taken out of it at that moment.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, he says he'll do it. Just leave my family alone. We get the defense secretary approaching the vice president, who wants her to give the last signature on the incapacity measure, or whatever it's
Right
called.
before that, we do have Petrov is getting a call.
Right. And she almost signs it, but hesitates, and
Well, I love that what he says is to try to motivate her, and he says, "History will judge you, by what you do
Yeah.
here, Catherine." And you see her like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna sign it."
Yeah.
Love that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and it's a bold.
Glenn Close killing it. in
Yeah,
this.
she's really killing it. Yeah, maybe second best performance after Ivan.
I think I said that. I think I
Yeah.
might have said that. Yeah. I like him. I like her a lot. She's great.
General Radek is released. This whole section,
This is great. This
it's
is I love
so
these
well
shots.
done.
Yeah.
It's exceptionally good. Just
We're bouncing between so many different places because we've
Yeah.
got Radek being released. People in the White House hear that Radek is being released. Everyone in the jail cheering for Radek. You know.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't empathize too much with Ivan throughout the movie, just because he's such a piece of shit, and he's trying to support this like genocidal dictator. But like there's moments where I was still like, there's like that's deep, but I didn't like feel too much for whatever reason. There's a guard, like he seems like the head guard of the prison or whatever, and they keep showing his satisfaction with Radek being released, and for whatever reason, his performance like really got me when he sees him die, and he's just in like utter like obliterated shock, like his heart's broken. I'm
Or
like,
are you
"Oh,
talking about the guy who's waiting for him who gets off the helicopter?
No, he's in like the security room watching this all happen on the cameras, and
He's like, but I think he's like a member of the Kazakhstani
Yeah.
government who's there to like
yeah. I wasn't sure.
extract Radek.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was part of the prison or if this was completely removed back in Kazakhstan or whatever. But for
Yeah.
whatever reason, this one like random performance like it just like hit me. I don't know, like
Yeah.
this random character.
And they're getting confirmation that they're releasing the general over the phone, the terrorists are, and then they're like, now what? And Ivan is like, I'm going to take you to Kazakhstan and let Radek decide what to do with you. And he's like, you said you would let us go. And he says, sorry, I lied. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, you fully just like thought he was going to let you go. Yeah, I mean, you did what you had to do in the time. But there's
You
this
give a
there's
mouse a
this-
cookie, Alfredo.
There's this moment of like being like, oh yeah, of course, like that was silly, but
I don't think he believed he was going to let him go. That was his whole argument to the vice president. I think he's just saying whatever he can.
for sure. No, I mean, I think there's the argument that like logically he could think that, but in the emotional state he's in, he's like, what the fuck, man?
I think you're right because that also kind of goes into what I was talking about, where he says he's not going to let him go, and then like there's a shot of him kind of not cutting, and then he starts really going at it.
Because
Right
like
here.
fucking the like with Harrison Ford, I think it's pretty clear in his performance when he's like, I am like emotional, and when I'm like being like plotting or
Yeah.
like thinking things. So it was definitely a very emotional, like, hey, you fucking lied to us, bro.
For sure.
I do, and then we have the prisoners are singing this like Russian
it's-
Revolution song.
It's really beautiful.
It is. I like. Part of me was like, like I'm so curious, like what it would feel like being like a Russian person with the like cultural connection to the song. I think it was really beautiful, and the way they're all singing together. But there's this part of me that's like, is this being like misused in any like way? Like, just like a glancing thought. But again, I did think that there was also so wild that it's like all of these prisoners are like, what? They're all like political prisoners. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of like a gulag situation where it's just like this is all of Radek's like extremists or whatever, or maybe it's just people
But
anti-Moscow.
it's democratic Russia now, bro. They don't got gulags in
You're right.
democratic Russia.
You're right, yeah.
Also, the way they show the prison, it looks like such a shitty prison. But the argument is that Russia's better now because it's been democratized.
Right.
And like watching the prison, I'm kind of like maybe not like full on genocidal like fucking dictator, but like maybe a little bit of like reform, you know?
Yeah. So this is actually the moment I probably felt the most for Ivan, when he's listening to the anthem and he's just like Oldman's
He puts it on the
performance.
PA.
Yeah, in his face, dude, the fervor of like belief, like you could just see. Like I was thinking of that line, like I would, forsake God for this, and like the moment of just like victory, and just like you can see everything he's fought for coming to fruition here, and like how emotional he looks during this shot as the anthem's playing. I'm just like, oh my God, so good.
Yeah. We see Radek getting his uniform back. President cutting through his bonds. I love that right at that moment too is when Kolchak and Ivan hug. They're like, finally, all of this hard work, we did it. We got our guy back, like our number one guy.
Yeah.
Like, cause to that they're getting their James Marshall back. You know.
Exactly. Everything they fought for, they're getting like, and that's the dream and hope of Mother Russia, like sitting on that, reforming
for them.
everything.
For them.
And just I mentioned this earlier, but the sets again, like when he's walking out of the prison, that looks great. And then this big room he walks into to sign the form where the suit's sitting, this room looks fucking amazing. Like super well lit, super interesting design, super cool. And then again, when he walks out into the courtyard, it again, just like amazing. It looks
and
so good.
the lighting is so good, and the courtyard is very cool.
And the music's perfect. This is definitely like maybe the best sequence in the whole movie. Is just this whole Radek getting out of prison.
Yeah. Then there is the president strikes. He kills Kolchak.
Yep.
Ivan takes Grace. He almost shoots the president, but then we have the fucking chief of staff jumping in front, taking the bullet.
Yeah.
How romantic!
And he lives. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It was kind of funny to me. I was like, oh, this guy's like hanging on.
Yeah, he makes it through.
Then like the president shoots Ivan in the bulletproof vest, and he tumbles downstairs
while holding onto his wife.
Yeah,
so
it's
they're
great.
both just down. Yeah, that was really cool, I thought.
And then they're going to the parachute, and he's like, Ivan's throwing all the parachutes out the fucking back.
Great idea. Yeah, love that. Yeah,
and
the helicopter lands for Radek. That whole and the music is so like ominous and good. It's like I think it's like, even might be some medley stuff going on where you have like the main theme mixing in with the villain theme, and it's just like so epic, dude. I love it so much because it's all playing on the speakers too. You can hear Radek getting released from prison as he's chasing him through the belly of the plane. Like perfect sequence. He tries to escape with the wife, like you were saying. He has him drop the gun. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just shoot him here. I guess he really wants to make sure Radek gets out, or if it's just plot convenience. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's pointing the gun at Grace, and that's how he gets him to drop the gun. And then Grace fucking swings at him.
I love that she's the one that because he's been a sexist asshole the whole movie, and then this is his undoing is he underestimates the first lady in this moment.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say he's been a sexist asshole the whole movie. I think there's like the part with the blouse.
Yeah, there was another part too that wasn't just the vice president, I think. But yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't say it's like a defining characteristic of him.
Sure. But still a sexist asshole.
Word, for sure. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people on the president's staff that are like Secretary of Defense seems like a sexist asshole.
Sure. I mean, they can both be sexist assholes.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, just that his undoing.
Honestly, can I just say, everybody giving the vice president so much shit, dude, throughout this whole movie.
It's true, yeah.
She's very composed the whole time,
Yeah,
too.
she's great.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I mean, she's the one who's kind of holding this whole thing down on the political
The way
end.
he fucking kills him, like tying the thing around his neck and then
releasing
pulling
the
chute, dude, and then like he like hangs him.
Get the hell off my plane. Yeah, he breaks his neck. Yeah. The parachute, just the look of the parachute pulling him backwards is such a like awesome cinematic thing.
Then Ivan's dead body just like fucking floating away.
The air. Yeah, I love that.
My hero, I love him.
And it's
if only he could have succeeded.
I know. Yeah, there's a lot of defense going for Ivan in this movie.
Yeah, no, I liked. Like I told you, he's my favorite performance. Like I loved him. Thought he was great.
Yeah,
I loved every moment I got to watch him on screen.
Yeah, he's awesome villain. And yeah, it's surprising how much movie is still left after he's dead, right? And it's a trope I like. I wonder if there's a little bit too much left, but I do like when like the main threat is gone in a story, but you're dealing with the chaos that like they created, and you're just kind of trying to sort that out before the end. I always think that's fun.
No, I think it makes sense for like a political thing like this. Like so many things have been like
Put into motion,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where we have like Grace is like, you have to call Petrov and get him to get Radek. And we see Radek salutes his boys coming to pick him up in the courtyard. They look so stoked. They look like they're about to go to fucking Buffalo Wild Wings and get like a fucking pitcher of beer and like a fucking shit ton of wings and just like woo, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when your friend, you know, like gets off work and you're like sitting there in the car. You're like, yeah, get it, let's go, dude.
Totally. And I wrote just when he walks out here and how fucking like good he looks. I wrote that Radek is aura farming hard here when he steps out in the courtyard. It's just this close in on his face, and he's just like so dapper and ready to do all of his dictator fascist shit. Like
Jurgen Prochnow, fucking like good face for it.
Yeah,
real good face.
yeah.
There's also like then suddenly the spotlight comes on him, you know, and they tell him to
freeze,
stop.
Yeah, and he makes a run for it.
And then he gets. I love how he makes it out the gate, but then gets shot, you know?
Yeah, right before he gets to the helicopter, yeah. And just, yeah, it cuts back to that, I don't know, some other general in his army or something, and it's just his face just, like, in complete, like, shock and horror as he watches his leader die, and it's just like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why that hit me, but I just thought it was a powerful note. It was watching someone's, like, entire, like, world fall apart, I guess.
And then to contrast it, we have Petrov is so stoked that Radek is dead.
Yeah.
The White House is stoked that the president has retaken the plane, and we see that the chief of staff is he's not doing great, but he is alive. And we have the whole thing about like if the major can fly the plane, which according to the wings on his uniform, he should technically be able to fly the plane,
right,
but he says that he can't.
Totally. Yeah, interesting little like.
But he still asks him to come and
detail.
Like, yeah, he's like. Come with me. I still need a co-pilot.
Right.
And then we see Gibbs watching menacingly.
Yeah, and they're and is this where? Oh no, yeah, right after this. So the president's flying the plane. They're in hostile territory. They got enemy planes coming in, and then defense coming on another side, which is just fun. Like it's again like a race, a timer.
Yeah, there's the MiGs, and they're losing fuel. The F-15s show up, and there's the fucking oh my god, dude. There's the fucking The Halo 2 goes in and fucking takes the missile. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of these things with movies in motion. Problem after problem. Yeah. Now the rudder is like they're like Sandra Bullock says to Keanu Reeves, like you
really needed another challenge.
And now like the rudder is sluggish, the plane isn't moving well.
Because they the jet takes the blast, but it's still like they get some shrapnel in the back of the plane, and now it's just like full on leaking fuel. This plane is going to go down. We also see Gibbs pick up a pistol from one of the dead bodies at this point, so that's a lurking threat in the background. You know, is going to surface at some point. Yeah, a lot of flying plane business going on, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, they're gonna have a landing crew like. Come up and like grab them, right?
Yeah.
There's also a moment where Alice comforts the president and is like, "It's okay, everything's gonna work out." And then we see people gathering at the White House, like with candles and stuff, like wishing the president safe. But yeah, the landing team is gonna try and intercept them. So Gibbs opens the door. The president has to keep up the speed. They pull like the landing crew guy in. The guy takes over the wheel for the president. And we see an engine failing. We already had one fail. This is the second one failing. And then the president, they insist on taking him, but he's like, you have to take my family first, right?
Yep.
And he does that a lot. Like he's like, no, take them.
Yep. Again, we got the main theme coming in as his family gets off the plane and stuff. And yeah, every time it hits, man. I'm just a really big fan of this composer. I think he's fantastic.
Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah, he's really
for the
good.
gold.
For the gold.
And eventually we do have like, all right, like they tell him like we can only take one more person.
Impact in 2 minutes. Again, timer after timer in this movie. I love it.
We can only take one more person. And I love the way that this is solved where he's like, no, we're all gonna go. And ultimately what happens is like, no, we find out Gibbs is the traitor.
Yeah,
he fucking shoots William H. Macy, so don't have to worry about taking him. And now it's like you just need to worry about you getting off by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, William H. Macy's character, just again sacrificing himself. I think that's part of what made me emotional at the end. Is
I
that
don't I don't know. I think it's just he gets killed. Like
no, he says it's time for you to get off this plane, sir. Like he's saying, don't worry about us.
He's willing to like let him go. Yeah, for sure.
He's saying you're the one who needs to get off.
Yeah.
Forget us. And like, I think that's what made me emotional in the end. That like kind of the catharsis of tearing up the contract, I guess, was just this handing a baton for like something they believe in. Again, believing in this. Like, imagine a president that like we're all willing to.
Yeah,
carry
imagine
on
like
this dream
someone
for.
you believed in so much
Yeah.
that you'd be willing to turn your back on God. You know? I think that's one of the wild things about like the mirroring of this is like no one's calling to attention like that they kind of want to put this ultimate power in his hands. But again, it is a work of fiction.
Yeah.
It is like this fun action movie. I'm not so much of a like, I'm not someone who's trying to shit in the pool, or like, party pooper, but it's just really funny to think about, like to like take this step back and be like, that's funny.
Yeah, totally.
I love the shot of Gibbs like left in like the door once the president makes it out. The whole business with the strap,
Yeah, where he's
the
trying to get it
carabiner,
on. Yeah,
really good.
I love that he basically
Really
almost
well shot.
doesn't even have it on all the way when the buckle snaps, and he's like still fidgeting with it, like as he's flying through the air.
Well, he gets it on right on time.
Yeah.
It's a just barely again.
Yeah, and it's great. Him flying out of the plane. Yeah, Gibbs in the doorway. He's like sobbing, like no. The CGI doesn't look great as the plane's crashing. I mean, there's a couple moments like that where it's just like it's very clear CGI. You know? But it reminded me of the Titanic as well. The Titanic did a lot better with more practical stuff, but there is some moments too where it's just like that's very clearly CGI and it doesn't look awesome, but that's fine.
I love the president flopping around behind the plane, you know? And you hear them like, Liberty, do you have the president? And everyone's waiting on bated breath, and they say, Liberty 2-4 is now Air Force One.
Liberty 2-4 is now Air Force One.
They all salute him. Everyone's so fucking happy.
Yeah, cheers.
And then we have
salutes.
the vice president tearing up the presidential incapacity.
And I wrote here, why am I teary-eyed? I'm still wondering. For whatever reason, this moment I think it was the music. I think it was the release. I think it's those themes I was talking about.
It's one of those movies where it's like she keeps being told over and over again, like, you have to do things our way. You have to do things our way. You have to stop being an idealist. Like, you have to stop thinking like you can save everyone. And it's like, no, I can believe that, and it can happen, right?
Yeah,
like, there's something about that I think is compelling, that I get, where it is like, you know what? No, like, it's like we don't have to choose. We can be great. But like, I mean, which is awesome in a movie, but the like.
Yeah, maybe it's because I've been so bummed out about politics for so long that like having something that like almost gives you like a window into like what like we could be, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, she like as a politician seems kind of like, I don't know. They seem like to be people who are like saying what they actually think, and I think we're seeing them behind closed doors too, right? Like we don't, but like again, heard with the press conference, right? But yeah. Freedom and shit, dude.
Yeah, the planes fly away and we fade to black.
We do have the sun over the clouds too.
Yeah. I meant to mention that earlier. When the like jets are coming in, you start seeing the sun rise and stuff, and that's it's awesome to see that transition into a sunset or sunrise in a movie. It's like always super striking, and when it's happening in real time, it just like
it's awesome.
Works really well.
The way like over the clouds, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to point out Sergei, one of the Russian terrorists. He is credited just as Levani, like mononymously.
Interesting.
Like with one single name. He's a Georgian actor, and he was born Levin Karlovich Uchanishvili. And he just goes by Levani. I love that. I think that's so cool. I don't know why.
Like Cher.
Yeah, like Cher. Exactly like Cher. Like Madonna.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that's Air
Pretty,
Force One.
Pretty fucking wild movie.
Wild movie.
Very
fun,
patriotic. Very of a time.
Fun action movie. I had a really good time with it. I was surprised how good of a time with it. I think part of it is I was just like in the right mood for this, like just a fun, like let's just get some cool explosions. And then I was kind of just like surprised by how good the writing was, and like Gary Oldman's performance and all that. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I think like this like type of like movie, this kind of action movie, I really like more of like a Speed where like I think the politics of it are like kind of tear at me. Like as we've seen with like the things that I've been saying, like it I still had fun and I
Yeah.
enjoyed watching it and I was able to like, really take it for what it was. But at the same time, like I'm a very like politically like I don't like I'm just very always like full context, right? So like I think I'd rather have something with if it's gonna be like political like this, give me like yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like it was a cool backdrop, I guess, but I think maybe it's just like for me, if that's gonna be it, and it's gonna be from this very sort of specific like stance, then I am sort of like always thinking about like real world like implications and stuff like that. I feel like it's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah, and I was too, and I think where I landed on that is I was expecting it. I think I said this at the beginning. I was expecting it to be a lot more just like one-sided, like waving the American flag, and then we get all these like really kind of empathetic moments with the villain and like talking about like the the atrocities America's done and like the weight of that and stuff like that.
I feel like it's all carried by like Ivan for the most part, which is I think one of the slightly unfortunate parts of it. But at the same time, like it's like.
But you still have like all the prisoners and like cheering for it. Like you could see how much, and like I said, that random person who like that reaction shook me. Or I'm like,
I mean, that's three things,
Well, I
like
know,
all the prisoners. Yeah, sure, but like again,
and the anthem and like that emotional moment, like.
Well, the prisoners and the anthem are kind of the same thing.
I know, but just like the weight they give to that.
Sure, absolutely, but they're all in a prison. Like that's another thing about it. Like, and we've set up like. The new Russian democracy as like good guys, right? I think there is this weird writing of a line of trying to like do like the like let's just simplify it, make it easy for like an action movie, but also like let's give it some nuance. And I think I respect the attempt, but there are like I think I just need a little bit more nuance or a little less. Like
Sure, that's interesting. Yeah, I think them setting up at the beginning that they basically genocided 200,000 people. I was just like, okay, I'm in. You've set
but
up like
again, this is from the side of the people who want to arrest him, right? Like,
yeah. I guess it was just kind of like like a very common villain in games and movies is just like let's just do Nazis. Everyone knows those are bad guys. You don't feel bad when they're shot. For me, that was their kind of just like okay, these guys genocidal maniacs. Like let's move on. They're bad guys. And then that they still gave nuance to that. I thought they didn't need to, but it like added a lot for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think honestly, if they had been like, because there are some like fascist seeming tendencies from him, but I think it all being like couched in like communist, like a group of like these like communist terrorists, like they want to bring like communism back to like the USSR. There's like, I don't know, there's all this like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, again, I think that's just like a personal preference for me.
Yeah.
I also like, I just, my parents are like, big leftists, like that's how I grew up. Like I'm very dubious of the portrayal of the United States in any sort of media, like, and I think this movie isn't for me. Like, this movie, like, I'm sure it does great with like lots of people, and I had a good time, right? But it's like, like if somebody was like, oh man, like, let's watch something tonight. Oh, let's watch Air Force One. I'd be like, no, let's watch something else.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just a fun movie to have on. Good time. Gave me more than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, watching it with like a critical eye and like talking about it and doing some analysis, I think it's fun. I think it's more fun because I have this aversion to like even faintly jingoistic things, right?
Yeah.
So like I enjoy that part of it, but like.
So do you have a problem with Ivan's patriotic fervor?
Yeah, I do as well. I do like the way that
I'm hearing a lot of one-sided criticisms here.
Yeah, for sure. Like, no, I do. The way that he blindly follows Radek, I think what is compelling about Ivan is that he's played by Gary Oldman, and he is like he just like the performance feels
a lot of great lines.
So strong for me. But yeah, I mean his I think it's silly the way here, I'll level some criticism at Ivan. First of all, I don't like it when people kill people. Gotta put that out there.
Okay, cool.
I don't like it when people support genocide. Do not like that.
Yeah.
That's part of what I was talking about, dude. Like, people are being starved in like Gaza. That's what felt so like fucking like salient about like that sort of
Opening
shit.
speech where he's talking about we just stood aside. Yeah.
And here I'll say it. What's frustrating is like the way the American government is responding to this shit right now, and how it does in other countries. And then watching this idealized, that's frustrating, right? Again, let's shit on Ivan some more. Ivan, don't like that. Don't like the way he kisses that girl on the forehead. it was creepy. Like, don't like maybe be a little bit more committed to the like, maybe could show him being a little bit more of like a moral like soldier, like a little bit. But he really does seem to be willing to do anything to achieve his ends, which is also compelling, right?
Yeah.
And I
mean,
think
that's how you get this far.
His
right?
blind belief in Radek is, it's wild. It's insane. I think it's like exceeding the like faith that some of the characters display in like the president, right?
I mean,
and
he
I think
sees Radek above God.
I think it's like so. It really is disappointing how he can have so many of these like conceptions and be so aware, but then think that this dude is gonna like fix everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? I'm like, it's Gary Oldman, dude.
He's
It's
so
just
good.
like, okay, if someone was like, let's watch Air Force One and talk about how much we love Gary Oldman, I might be like, okay, yeah, let's do that. But again, it's like, I'm not trying to say it was a bad movie. It's just like, not for me. You know?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
When there are so many like action movies out there, like this just isn't gonna make it on my rewatch list.
For sure. That being said, what's your tier ranking?
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a B. I think I think it could have been an easy C if it wasn't for all these other reasons I'm talking about, which elevated it a lot for me.
Yeah, I think that like it's hard. Again, like as I've said, like if we're talking about how I rate it on what it tried to accomplish, like with the cap of like when we said speed is S tier when you think about like
as an action movie. Yeah.
As an action movie. For me, this within that realm, I would say maybe like an A.
Yeah, I would say
maybe
A action
like
film.
maybe like a B plus.
Yeah.
But I will say, in the greater scheme of like, you know, seeing the cap as keep time out Arrival. I fucking love Arrival, dude. And then again, like American government, they're like, you know, I was actually very cool on them for a lot of that. I'll point that out. I am an American citizen. I have a U.S. passport. Please don't take away my American
Don't
citizenship.
support Alfredo.
Please don't. Please don't. I was born in this country. I know that like birthright citizenship might be ending, but please let me stay. But I think within that context, I would say C.
That's fair. That's fair, brother. It was a good movie. C is a good grade for stuff.
I mean, like I said, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
It was entertaining. I like the set pieces. Yeah, again, not a movie for me necessarily.
Yeah, that's fair, man.
Well, no, I shouldn't say that. The whole playing bit, all of that technical aspect of it, I do like that a lot.
So you think it's not even that it's
I would say
of an
C
action.
plus B minus.
And is that like, do you think the difference between a C and a B here is just kind of like the political rah stuff behind it?
I think it takes away from. It's not just that. I think Harrison Ford, like his. I think there's a lot of performances in it that fall flat at certain points.
Sure.
I feel like Glenn Close and Gary Oldman are doing like a lot of like the heavy lifting with performances. I mean, I shouldn't like shit on like Dean Stockwell or like some of the other like side characters.
Yeah, William H. Macy. Yeah,
William H. Macy. I like him, but yeah, there's some parts where it's just like, oh, this is so corny. I think the like jingoistic aspects of it contribute to it because it is like a like pretty like bold faced like sort of thing. There's
I mean, the president's like an action hero.
Like we said.
Yeah.
Like we said. But yeah, I think it's that. I think it is like some of these things where I'd rather they go less or more in like one direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good business.
Good business. Fun movie. We enjoyed it. We had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Oh yeah. Next week
we're
gonna be wrapping up movies in motion.
Getting political.
Yeah, so we've had buses in motion, we've had boats in motion, we've had planes in motion. We're gonna wrap it up with trains in motion with Snowpiercer.
Yep.
I'm excited.
That'll get motion in your bowels.
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of the director after Parasite, so it'll be really fun to rewatch this.
Yeah. You haven't seen Mickey 17, right?
No.
I liked it. It was fun. A lot of people were like, people say Bong Joon-ho, his like English language movies can be like kind of like broad or a little like
I find him a little heavy-handed. I remember Snowpiercer being a little heavy-handed, but
I don't mind. I don't necessarily mind that. Like
I'll be curious to see.
All
my
depends
thoughts
on the context.
On a rewatch, yeah.
For sure. Well, anyway, thank you so very much, y'all. Thank you for listening to another episode of Cinema Forecast. As we like to say, tell your friends you love them. Call your mom. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. And, just keep being you.
And we'll see you in the forecast.
Cans.
Cons.